everyone, and welcome to the P1 Broadcasting Channel. You've got Murph, you've got Caleb Brashear, it's the Bass Brothers, and we are live from the virtual Kansas Motor Speedway. It's time for the Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series. And Caleb, it's Kansas. What can we say? The land of tornadoes, the Chiefs. There's a casino at this joint. They got a soccer stadium out here. What's not to love about this place?
Well, to me, on the IndyCar side, this track has always been really fun, and especially in the fixed races. It's equal on both sides. It provides really good pacing, really close racing all around, and that's something you also see in these big Grand National cars as well. You'll see some good side-by-side racing, but one thing that we are going to see tonight specifically is that the car will get loose. We've noticed that a little bit in practice, drivers getting really loose off of the corners. And that's something that they got to manage throughout the night here.
Yeah, you're going to have to manage the car. You're going to have to manage the tires. You're going to have to manage yourself. You're going to have to manage your temper. You're going to have to manage your fuel. This race does come down to a fuel mileage derby in some instances. There's a lot here to manage, and we're going to see who does the best at that throughout the course of the evening. We got a big field here too, Caleb. 27 cars signed in right now. And we've still got 8 minutes left for the registration, so we could hit 30 cars for this one.
Yeah, that's always great to see here, especially at a track like Kansas, which to me has never, at least in the official races, the iRacing official races, has never really been the most popular in terms of what we like to call the cookie cutter tracks. I feel like sometimes you get more at like Chicagoland or tracks like that. Even like Homestead, the other mile and a half. But Kansas, to me, has always been a really fun track, but never really gets the greatest appreciation, in my opinion, at least from what I've noticed. But seeing 30 cars here in the AMA tonight is just really great to see. We'll see a lot of hard racing.
You know, we most certainly will, and the reason you're going to see that hard racing is Kansas is unique among the cookie cutters. It's basically identical to Chicago, with two exceptions. Unlike Chicagoland, the backstretch here is straight. It is not curved. And the other bit is that this track has progressive banking in the corners. 17 degrees at the bottom, 20 degrees at the top, 10 degrees on the front stretch, 5 degrees down the back. And so you can see multiple lanes here as opposed to Chicagoland where you really don't see multiple lanes. The other bit is this track has never been resurfaced. It was opened in 2001, and it's still the original pavement. And what that means is that it's old, it's wore out. The Kansas winters are pretty tough on the asphalt. So it's kind of bumpy, it's kind of worn out, and it can produce a lot of different racing. When the Indy cars come here, we have to worry about tire wear, and I would expect, Caleb, tire wear to be a big factor here tonight.
Yeah, it is, and it's always. Whenever we do a stock car race, you always got to think about tire wear, especially at these really longer races here. Kansas is no exception, though. It's not as bad as Chicagoland, I don't think, but it definitely is still something to keep in the back of the mind. It's not going to absolutely shred them, but it's just, if you manage them early, you'll have just a little bit more pace at the end. It's not going to be as drastic as Chicagoland or even like some of the short tracks that we've been to earlier in the season, but it's just something to always just keep in the back of your mind of, hey, let's not push completely flat out the entirety of the stint here.
Yeah, I mean, you do want to save the tires, and you also want to save your temper. You want to save your championship standings. Greg Evans, Ryan O'Donohue, Sam Crow, 1, 2, 3 in the points. It's Interstellar Esports 4th and 5th with Kendall Paul and John Hutchins. David Dunwoody is 6th. Troy Carricker, Crash Neon, 2 Independents, 7th and 8th. Say Hey Lewis Hayes is 9th. Brian Sharp is 10th in those point standings. And so that's something that we're going to keep an eye on. Want to keep an eye on after Bristol is how the championship contenders fare. We've got some new names and some new faces in the series. Franco Alvarez, you said he had a heck of a run last week. Gave Greg Evans a run for his money. He's back. We've got Edward Shearer Jr. That's a name that we haven't seen before, and we've got some old favorites too. Ryan O'Donohue, Greg Evans, Kendall Paul, Justin Osterman, Sam Crow, James Hodgson. They're all here. I'll give you one guess with 5 minutes left in practice as the drivers' meeting gets ready to start. Caleb, who you got fastest in practice, my man?
I would say Ryan O'Donohue. He's been on a streak of being really quick in practice in the Grand National Series. I'm going to say it's him.
Right now, it is Ryan O'Donohue, and Franco Alvarez, the newcomer, is second, just 1,000th of a second off the ultimate pace from Ryan O'Donohue. Greg Evans, Kendall Paul, Justin Osterman round out your top five as we head on to the drivers' meeting for tonight's event. Do want to point out just some of the rules of the road for this evening. We do have 3 stages, as always, in the AMA. Those breaks are going to be at 45 and 90, 200 laps, 300 miles in total. They're going to have 5 sets of tires at their disposal, 4 in the box, and that's big because tires are always an issue here, Caleb. They're going to have an extra set to play with. Past winners here, well, they include Kyle Heath and Ryan O'Donohue. James Hodgson has the AMA track record at 30.389 seconds. The lap record here for the Cup cars, 28.857. For the Grand National cars, 30.796. So we're going to see laps here quicker than the track record that was for these cars that was set in 2019 by Tyler Reddick in the 2019 Kansas Lottery 300. The outright track record held by Thomas Schechter, 2002 Ameristar Casino Indy 200, 24.874 seconds. That is hauling the mail, Caleb. That's about 6 seconds quicker than what we're going to see out of these cars tonight.
Yeah, and obviously those early kart/IRL cars were just absolutely blistering around the mile and a half. It created some great racing, especially in the late 90s, early 2000s. And track opened in 2001, so I don't think we got quite at that peak of, the late 90s kart, but it's still incredible pace from those Indy cars. And, not much, it's plenty to say about the stock cars only being like 4 seconds off. Most track hits like 6 to 7 seconds off you typically see. So the pace here is not too far off despite that factor, but still pretty cool.
It is indeed. There are additional sporting facilities and other facilities here. You'll see it down off the exit of turn number 2. That is a casino. It's the Hollywood Casino, which opened in 2012. It's a joint venture between Penn Entertainment and the track. There is also on the grounds a soccer stadium that is the home of Sporting Kansas City, and so that's here as well. That's kind of off in the background, but it is on the grounds. And then later on, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be in this vicinity, Caleb. They're going to build their new stadium out here too. So this is really it kind of models itself on the Kansas City, Missouri example where they put all their, or the Philadelphia example where they put all the sporting facilities in one place. And Kansas City, Kansas, it's no different. Qualifying practice has begun, by the way. Caleb, go ahead.
Nope, I was just going to say, you typically see that with every sports city, don't you? They always put it in one section, and sometimes, that can be quite painful. I'm looking at you, Cincinnati.
Well, Cincinnati, they did the thing where they had Riverfront. They knocked down Riverfront, turned it into a parking lot, and built new baseball stadium on one side and a new football stadium on the other. I actually rather like Paul Brown Stadium. It's one of it is one of my favorite venues to go to a football game. Had the opportunity to go there several years ago with a dear friend of mine. Watch the Dallas Cowboys play at Cincinnati. I do like my other, but Kansas City does have one of my other favorite sporting facilities. 1A on my list of favorite baseball stadiums is Kauffman Stadium, where the Royals play. I've not been to Arrowhead, but Kauffman, just a beautiful place to watch a ball game. Just about 10 seconds now. Ryan O'Donohue still holds the fastest lap in practice. And we are getting just about time, Caleb, to talk some turkey here, my friend. Do want to thank everybody before we get going. Thank everybody for joining in. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to P1 so that you too can get on all of the iRacing fun. Who do you want to watch in qualifying, my man?
I'd say we watch the new guy. Let's watch Franco Alvarez. He did very well at Bristol last week. He didn't qualify quite the best. I believe he qualified in 9th last week, but he finished in 2nd, got an absolutely fantastic result there. I want to see what he can do, given that he's now kind of used to the Grand National cars after 1 week.
Here in the AMA, we put our focus on one driver for qualifying today. It'll be Franco Alvarez, and there he is. He's on pit road. We'll get the lap times up for everybody so that you can see where your favorite driver is in the standings. And there's Franco Alvarez, Mobile 1 on the front of that Chevrolet. And he is out and after it. We'll jump, let's jump in the eyeballs of Franco Alvarez. This is exactly what he sees as he tours the Kansas Speedway. 1.5 miles. Again, time to shoot for here, somewhere in the 30.3 second bracket, I would think, given what O'Donohue was doing in practice.
Yeah, around the 30.3 second would be probably at least a top 5 starting position, maybe a high 30.2 if you're going to try to get that pole stare time. We'll see what he's able to do. He was only a thousandth off of Ryan O'Donohue in practice. He hugs that low line, opens up on the corner exit, gets kind of loose, but he's able to keep very nice control of it on the exit of the corner. And we talked about that briefly, how loose the car is around here. You're going to burn off that right rear if you're not careful with it. In qualifying, well, you're going to be full blown to the power. We'll see what he's able to do as he crosses the line.
30.592 for Franco Alvarez is his first lap. That's good enough for second quick. Edward Scherer Jr. right now has the provisional pole. Get back on board with Alvarez as he tries to make better time. In these cars, typically the second lap is the quickest, just because the more heat you get in the tires here, it tends to go a little bit quicker. Alvarez fighting the car through turns 3 and 4. He's going to come off of turn number 4 down onto the apron right next to the grass. Lap number 2. 30.398, and that is going to be good for a provisional pole. Franco Alvarez. Let's head over and see what Greg Evans is doing. He's got the Freightliner paint scheme on that puppy, and he's right around the top of the speedway here on lap 1. On his get up to speed lap 1. He's not even going to try to run quick on the first lap. He's saving it all for the second, Caleb.
Yeah, and that's typically what you always see on these bigger tracks. You want to try to run that high line, and that's what he's doing. He's doing that through 1 and 2 now, just trying to get as much speed as possible. Because honestly, you're gonna you're still not up to top speed when you come off turn 4. When you come to your first green flag lap, you see him go to the bottom. That's just to get as smooth a run as possible coming onto the front straightaway. But he's still trying to carry as much speed as possible coming to start that second green flag lap.
There is the second green flag lap. It is in the book. It is in the books. Greg Evans, 30.451. That is going to be good enough. 177.334 for the speed, and Greg Evans is going to be 4th quick on the board as he heads down into turns 3 and 4. May get one more here for Evans. Across the line. It's a 4:48, so just a hair quicker. It does not move him up. It does not move him up in the standings, and I believe, Caleb, that's going to be all the cars that we're going to have take time here. Crash Neon, Eric Quarter, Ted Craven, Randy Dunlap, David Dunwoody, and Christopher Logan are not leaving pit road, and so I don't think we're going to have any more qualifiers. Dunwoody wants to know how many cars he can pass in stage 1. I'm going to say 5. What about you, Caleb? Or should I give the guy that I call the boss man a little bit more credit than that?
Do I just price right you and just say 6? And that way, if he gets any more than that, I automatically win.
That's probably a good plan, and we're winding down the time to see who's going to get that Simshop Pole Award here at Kansas. Right now, Franco Alvarez looking good for it. Nobody else is on the track as we count down the time. And so it'll be Franco Alvarez on the pole, and Kendall Paul will be outside. This is Kendall Paul's home race, and this is his race. He's also sponsoring the race. It is officially known as the Be Weather Ready 300, presented by SKP Storm Tracker 78, which is Kendall Paul. So his race, man gets the outside pole. On that pole, Simshop pole position, it is Franco Alvarez. www.simshop.com. Just keep driving. Kendall Paul will be to his outside. Row 2, Ryan O'Donohue. Edward Shearer Jr. is going to be fourth. Greg Evans, Mike Rigney, the two DVD Motorsports teammates, they're going to lock out row number 3. Row 4, Justin Osterman and Sam Crow. Joshua Zorn and Vance Fisher going to start 9th and 10th. And gotta love the look from Vance Fisher. He's driving the old Tabasco Fiasco tonight, Caleb.
Oh, no.
In 11th is Sergio Abella. Christian Light will go from 12th. James Hodgson will be 13th. John Hutchins 14th. Say Hey Lewis Hayes smack in the middle of the field at 15th. Lee Campbell, Troy Carricker, Donald Green, Michael Kirk, and Brian Sharp round out your top 20. In 21st, it's Andrew Gates. The following drivers did not set a time: Crash Neon, David Dunwoody, Ted Craven, Eric Quarter, Christopher Logan, and Randy Dunlap, and they are going to be your 27 car starting field. Mustang pace cars pulling off onto the speedway, and we're getting ready to get cock-locked and ready to rock here in the Outland Custom Arms AMA Grand National Series. It is the Be Weather Ready 300 presented by SKP Storm Tracker 78 at Kansas. You ready to have some fun tonight, Caleb?
I'm always ready to have some fun here, Murph.
You know, Dunwoody wants to know how many he passed last week. I wasn't here. I was laying by the I was laying by the swimming hole working on my suntan. How am I supposed to know how many cars he passed?
Well, you could have watched and counted. I was busy commentating the entire field. You could have watched Dunwoody. You're saying you did. You're saying you did watch Jacob Collins commentate Bristol.
You know, we'll talk more about that. We'll talk more about my time away here in a moment. Barney has the green flag in the air. Field coming off a turn number 4. Green flag is out. We are underway. 200 laps in the AMA Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series from Kansas.
Yeah, Franco Alvarez jumps into the lead, but it looks like Kendall Paul gets a good run on the outside. They are still 2x2 up in the front. Franco Alvarez just gets the edge a little bit. Ryan O'Donohue now looking on the inside of Kendall Paul to his outside, Eric Scherer Jr. in that number 18, right in that high line. Ryan O'Donohue, Kendall Paul currently going through 3 and 4, and Franco Alvarez has kind of pulled away from the rest of the group here.
He has indeed. We're going to jump into the broadcast cameras. We're looking at the battle for second. Ryan O'Donohue to the bottom, Kendall Paul on the top, and you've got Justin Osterman and Edward Shearer right behind him going after it for 4th and 5th.
Yeah, very close racing here. Ryan O'Donohue started a little bit further back than usually we see him qualify all the time on the front row, but he started back in 3rd position, excuse me. And he is trying to fight to get back up towards the front, as where we usually see him throughout the course of these races, but he's got a new face that he has to battle with to try to get that front spot.
Yes, he is. O'Donohue wants that lead. He's a front runner for certain sure, and he's got that 14 right up against the wall. He's already riding that Kyle Larson line to the front. Can he get there? Ryan O'Donohue will lead this lap.
Yes, he is indeed. But Franco Alvarez still to his inside. Now, one thing you got to consider, he is slightly more banked on that high line, so he's able to carry more speed onto these straightaways. But he is going to wear tires just a little bit more than Franco Alvarez if he keeps riding that high line. And you see as he immediately gets by him, he's able to go back to the low line, and he chooses to do so. Now we see Franco Alvarez on the high side and Kendall Paul to his Justin Osterman to his inside. Excuse me.
Mr. Excitement, Justin Osterman, drops it to the apron, and he's going to go by Franco Alvarez. So we'll move Justin Osterman provisionally into that second spot. Can he pull the slide job? Not quite, Caleb.
Not quite indeed. Now Franco's got to run on the outside. He got a little bit squirrely coming off turn number 2. He holds that middle line. But now it looks like Ryan O'Donohue is pulling away a little bit, but Justin Osterman able to get that position, is trying to close that gap. We'll see if he's able to. Now Franco looks back up the inside of Osterman.
He does, but Osterman runs the car low, slams the door. Franco Alvarez gets a taste of the dirty air, and he'll fall a couple of car lengths into the tire tracks of Justin Osterman as they come off of turn number 2. Meanwhile, there is a scrap back here around Vance Fisher in 12th. The Tabasco fiasco on the inside. He's got Crash Neon, John Hutchins, and Christian Light in close attendance behind him as Vance Fisher goes to work on James Hodgson for 11th.
Yeah, James Hodgson was one of the stronger runners. He was running just outside the top 5 all week last week in Bristol, and just didn't quite get the end result that he wanted. Now he's trying to get himself inside the top 10 here at Kansas.
Yes, he is. James Hodgson, he's always a sentimental dark horse favorite of mine. Full disclosure, he and I run the 24 Hours of Daytona together along with Kendall Paul. James Hodgson is a very, very good endurance racer, and I think that helps him in these races. He's not in a hurry to get anywhere right off the bat. He's just going to run his race, let it come to him, and James Hodgson circulates in the 12th spot. Meanwhile, Sam Crow has started to move his way forward. He's dropped to the inside of Joshua Zorn, the Napa Auto Parts machine, to the top. Sam Crow for Black Acid Apparel on the bottom. And Sam Crow is going to take that 10th spot away from Zorn, move Sam Crow, or 9th spot away, move Sam Crow up to 9th.
I do want to briefly apologize to James and Kendall for dealing with Murph on a road course. I feel like you need to give yourself a pat on the back dealing with Mark Murphy on anything that doesn't just turn left.
I'm sure they appreciate that. And there's Kendall Paul. He's working to the inside of Greg Evans. Kendall Paul is going to have that spot. That is the battle for 5th. Evans high. And then you got Mike Rigney in the John Van Varela special right behind him. Rigney has the best seat in the house here as we've got a caution on the speedway. That is Donald Green. Brian Sharp is involved. Eric Corder may have taken a hit. And David Dunwoody has the meatball. So let's see what we've got as a result of this contact here. There's Donald Green, and we'll get back in the Wayback Machine and see what's caused the trouble. It's Donald Green racing with Brian Sharp, and I got to tell you here, Caleb, this looks an awful lot like a big piece of netcode to me.
Let's take a closer look on it. It kind of... It's netcode by definition, but I think it's a contact that was going to happen regardless.
Yeah, I think you're going to be right. You see Sharp and Donald Green get in the wall, and poor David Dunwoody nowhere to go. We're going to jump on board and show you what it looks like from his point of view. But that's a tough break for David Dunwoody. Watch the two cars in front; they're going to come together on the front straight, and there's just nowhere for him to hide. Donald Green moves to the bottom there on Brian Sharp. Now Green's going to come back up off this bottom lane, and I agree with you. It's technically netcode, but there would have been contact anyway. And Dunwoody's thinking, man, they're going to crash down to the bottom. This is perfect for me. Uh-oh. And there's the hard hit for David Dunwoody, and he is on the pit lane. And for Dunwoody, he's already a lap down. He's got the black flag. He's in his pit box. There he is. Significant repair ongoing on that number 28 Blackmagic Studios No Pass Media machine. So Dunwoody already behind the 8 ball in his bid to pass some cars here. We had the poll up. Ryan, how many cars was he going to pass? I don't know that more than 10 is going to be the winner here.
Oh, we've said that before a couple times with various other drivers that have been multiple laps down. If he's able to get that thing repaired, get a couple lucky dog positions here, he could still be in the running. And he has actually, right as I said that, DNF from the session. He is disconnected.
He has, just as a reminder, cautions in the AMA are brought to you by Admin Box. That is race control at the touch of a button. If you're a league administrator, you run hosted sessions, you run a league, you need to get one of those. That's www.adminbox.com. Do also want to thank our primary sponsor for the series, Outland Custom Arms. At Outland Custom Arms, our mission is to provide hunters and outdoor sportsmen with precision-crafted firearms rooted in Oregon's rugged legacy. Every build is hand-tuned for performance, reliability, and the uncompromising pursuit of the perfect shot. That's outlandcustomarms.com, and we appreciate everybody taking a look at our series sponsors. Nice crowd on hand tonight, too, if you haven't already done it. Make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel so that you, too, can get in on all of the iRacing fun here at P1, and we've got a whole lineup for you. We're off tomorrow night in the trucks. Next race is going to be the iRacing IndyCar Series presented by 40 Racewear. Top split, 2 o'clock Saturday, right here on P1. And there's David Dunwoody. He says too much damage on his machine this evening, and so he has decided to retire the number 28 as we get ready to head back to Green Flag Racing. Interestingly enough, only Christopher Logan and Ted Craven came in to take tires under that last caution. Everybody else stayed out 13 laps into what would be a 45 lap first stage, and we are back under green.
Yeah, Ryan O'Donohue shoots out to the lead there. Franco Alvarez on that inside line. He's able to get. He's about fender equal with Ryan O'Donohue. Let's see how he is off the corner. They're still getting up to speed now. He's on the rear quarter panel of Ryan O'Donohue looking at turn number 3 and 4. And it looks like Franco Alvarez is taking the lead away from Ryan.
Yes, he has. And we saw this earlier. Franco Alvarez jumped out to a big lead, but then Ryan O'Donohue ran him down, caught him, and passed him. And so we're going to see if that pattern holds true. O'Donohue, though, way high through turns 1 and 2, and I don't know if he didn't get a piece of the wall there, Caleb.
It looked like he did hit the wall there and lost a ton of speed. Don't know if he got damage from that. Let me take a quick look. It doesn't look like he did. Maybe just scraped the wall, but he is losing positions quickly, Mark. Now, as we look into the front of the field, Franco Alvarez and Justin Osterman, Mr. Excitement, are looking to do for the lead here. Meanwhile, right behind them is Edward Scherer and Ryan O'Donohue going side by side for the third place position.
Right on board with Edward Scherer Jr. He's gone underneath Franco Alvarez, and there's Scherer on Alvarez. That's the battle for second as Alvarez looks to the high side of Justin Osterman, who's claimed the lead here.
Osterman started a little bit further back in the field. He started 7th. So far, I believe that's Crash Neon is our biggest gainer, but he is definitely up there, gaining 6 positions over the leaders here to take. Yep.
Yeah, he is. The battle for second is going to rage on between Scherer and Alvarez. Ryan O'Donohue looking to apply the high line toward the front. Now he's got company in the form of Greg Evans.
Usually we talk about Greg Evans much sooner in the race. This is the first time we mentioned him.
You know, you're right. We usually do. Franco Alvarez has fallen back to third, and now he's got both DVD Motorsports teammates behind him in Evans and O'Donohue. Evans will slide down to the bottom side. O'Donohue trying to get his car moving back toward the front. And if he gets any closer to that wall, he's going to be in Kansas City, Missouri. That car is way up against the high line. Kendall Paul's going to get past, and here comes Sergio Abella on Ryan O'Donohue. So keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on O'Donohue, but Greg Evans is making his bid for third. He's underneath Franco Alvarez.
Yeah, he is. Franco, he's been trying to run that middle to high line through these corners here, but it just seems like at the moment the bottom is just kind of superior, but he looks like he's able to hold his own. He lost a little bit earlier battling for the leaders here, Edward Shear Jr. and Justin Osman, Mr. Excitement. He lost his positions trying to run that high line, but now that he has the bottom again, it looks like he's trying to gain back on our leaders here.
Yeah, Franco Alvarez had tried to run the middle groove. It looked like he was maybe making a migration up toward the high side, but now he's gotten it back on the bottom. As Edward Shear has now chased down Justin Osterman for the lead. There's Shear. He's only about 3 car lengths away from Mr. Excitement. We could have a battle for the lead on our hands here, Caleb, momentarily.
Yes, we do indeed. Last time going through 2, Franco Alvarez did hit the wall, just kind of tapped it, but no damage to him at all. Just a little love tap, as we'll say. But Kendall Paul and Greg Evans are battling very tightly close together for that 4th place position right behind Alvarez. Greg, ooh, he throws a little bit of a block right in front of Kendall going through 1 and 2. No harm, no foul, though, going through the exit 2 and onto the back straightaway.
What that did, though, was it opened up the bottom for Sergio Abella, and he's going to try to drive right through that hole, but he doesn't quite make it. Kendall Paul shuts that run off. And Kendall will have another run right at the back of Greg Evans, and he is way down on the bottom of that apron. Kendall Paul will claim the bottom, and we'll see if he can't go to the 4th spot.
Yeah, he's still trying to. It seems like the bottom is just the preferred line at the moment. We'll see if he's able to make it work. But it doesn't look like he got the job done that time, and now it looks like Sergio Abella has a look on his right rear quarter panel, but now he's equal with Greg Evans for that 4th place spot. And these guys are battling all the while. Franco Alvarez,
contact! Contact between Evans and Kendall Paul. They both get away with it, but you're right. That's just allowing Franco Alvarez and by extension Edward Shearer and Justin Osterman to just draw away from these two. The more you battle side by side, the slower you go, Caleb, in these cars.
That's just true for any racing series. The longer you battle with somebody, the more time you're just going to cost each other against the leaders of the pack, and that's exactly what's happening. They seem to have closed in on Alvarez a little bit, but the leaders are still gaining over the rest of the field here.
Yes, indeed. Now Kendall Paul's up on the high side, and Greg Evans nearly slid into Kendall Paul off of turn number 2. Meanwhile, we're going to have a change for the lead. Edward Shearer has gone to the point. He has made the move around the bottom of Mr. Excitement, Justin Osterman. So with 24 laps in the books, coming to get 25, we have a new leader. It is Edward Shearer Jr. in the number 18 Toyota. But Kendall Paul's not going to give that up, Caleb. He's going to go right back to the bottom.
Yeah, Mr. Excitement, Justin Osterman led a good portion early on, and kind of his first laps led, I believe, since Daytona. I believe he led some laps there. Oh, he gets a little bit tight on the exit turn 4. He wants to lead back. He's fighting hard for it, but he's going to have to yield to Edward Shear Jr. for the top spot of the race.
Yeah, he most certainly will, and I think Osterman might have gone too hard too quick, used up some tires. Meanwhile, Ryan O'Donohue has fallen off the pace. He's on the apron. That car is sick, and I believe he's been in the fence, Caleb. Let's see what we've got. Well, I think he might have got some. Might have gotten loose down the front straightaway. Here he is, coming off of turn number 4 next to Sergio Abella. He's got teammate Sam Crow behind him. And we've got a door slam event. And that happens at these tracks. O'Donohue does a great piece. That's a great piece of driving to save that number 14. It doesn't cost him anything but time, but that's something that's really easy to do here, Caleb. Is when you come off, and we're going to get back to the battle between Kendall Paul, Franco Alvarez, and Greg Evans. But that's something that's really easy to do here. If the car on the top anticipates that the car beneath them is going to go to the apron, it's really easy to make that contact, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just a bit of misjudgment. And that's the thing here with Kansas that you see constantly, especially in these stock cars. Not so much in other racing series such as IndyCar, even Indy Lights. There is a lot of apron use here at Kansas on that front straightaway that you don't really see across anywhere else. So if you're expecting someone to go to the apron and they don't, well, it's just two lines that are going to collide with each other. And unfortunately, Ryan O'Donoghue got the short end of the stick there.
Yes, he did. The good news is he saved the race car, and that's the most important thing. We know there's going to be a caution in 16 or 17 laps, so there's no harm, no foul. He'll put some new Goodyears on that, new virtual Goodyears on that car, and he'll be good to go. And we know he's got plenty of speed. He's already worked his way back past Eric Corder, Michael Kirk, and he'll start setting sail back up toward the front of this field. Do want to thank everybody for joining in, by the way. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to P1, and get in on all of the iRacing fun that we have to offer. Kendall Paul is working that 4 spot. Meanwhile, Edward Shear leads it. Kendall Paul is third now, and they're looking at, I believe, some lap traffic here.
Yes, it is. That is Donald Green that's right in front of him. A little bit of miscommunication going through that front straightaway, but Kendall's able to get past them, as well as Greg Evans on that front straightaway. And that closed a lot of the time while the leaders were getting held up by Donald Green just a little bit. And Kendall Paul was on the rear bumper of Mr. Excitement last time around. He's lost a little bit of time due to the lap traffic, though. And we'll see if he's able to regain that time he originally had.
Well, Donald Green's not out of the woods yet. You've got Sam Crow and Vance Fisher in the Tabasco Fiasco coming behind him. Donald Green's going to get out of the way, but that battle was put on hold, and Donald Green, hold on to her, buddy, up against the wall as Mike Rigney goes past, Joshua Zorn. Christian Light gets through. Here comes John Hutchins, and he should be a little bit more safe now. There he goes to the bottom. There goes Hutchins to the bottom. So Donald Green is more or less had the field go past him. Kendall Paul, though, has started to run down Mr. Excitement, Justin Osterman. He's bringing Greg Evans with him.
Yes, he is indeed. Greg running that high line. He seems to like that high line over the course of I want to say about the last 10 laps, he's been running that high line, as well as his teammates back there, Sam Crow and Ryan O'Donoghue. I've noticed that they've been running the high line a little bit. So maybe they just notice that the high line, if they're able to manage the tires a little bit better, is quicker if they just got to play the cards right.
I want to draw the fans' attention to something. Kendall Paul right now running laps in the 32-23 second bracket. He's been consistently about a tenth of a second quicker than both right, Justin Osterman. We got a caution. Caution is on the speedway.
Lewis Hayes.
It's Say Hey Lewis Hayes. I got to try to get that graphic out of here. There we go. Say Hey Lewis Hayes is the cause of the caution, and he's got Donald Green along with him, both cars with the meatball. And here's Say Hey Lewis Hayes. He's underneath Donald Green. He's trying to get through the lap number 6. Did he get a piece of the apron? And Donald Green starts sliding, and they connect right in the middle of the corner. Hard impact for both of those automobiles. The Robert Turnbull special, number 43, slides to the inside, and he is going to be in. He's going to be in big trouble with that car. I'm trying to figure out who the that's Lee Campbell in the plain white wrapper because he had a great view of that. We're gonna get on board with Lee Campbell. Watch watch Lee Campbell's view of this, race fans. There's the contact. There's the impact with the wall, and Lee Campbell can't really see much. Dive to the inside of Randy Dunlap. Dive to the inside of Hayes. Dive to the inside of Donald Green. Thank you very much. We're through it, Harry.
Unfortunately, it looks like that is going to be a retirement for both those drivers. They both have left the session, so too much damage. We are done. They got the message there, and that is going to be our second and third retirements of the night.
We're going to focus in on Ryan O'Donohue because he has come to the pit lane. He is going to put on a new set of boots, and he'll go back out 15 seconds in the box. So no damage for Ryan O'Donohue. But the driver of that 14 Mass Surgical Supply Chevrolet, he just wanted some new shoes. And I think, that might play to his advantage if there's a quickie yellow. He's going to be able to say, look, I've already had my tires. I can go, the distance in the second stage. There's only going to be 8 laps to go here. When we get the green flag, he might be set up in good shape to be back at the front once the second stage begins, Caleb.
Yeah, at this point, you could probably just cruise around as much as possible. You don't want to kill off the tires just for an 8-lap run, especially for how far back he is. But he just kind of wants to cruise around, save the tires as much as possible. That way, when the second stage starts, he'll be right back at the lead and have only slightly worn Goodyear rubber there.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen races like this where, I've seen races like this, Caleb, where a guy will do that and he'll just run around 2 or 3 seconds off the pace, knowing the field isn't going to catch him because we're only going to have 8 laps left in the stage, so he can be 3 seconds off the pace and not go a lap down. Not caution car speed, but he does not need to run that car very hard at all. And if things go according to plan, he'll assume the lead when the second stage begins. Do want to thank everybody for tuning in, joining in the fun. This has been the Track Racer stage break number 1. If you go to trackracer.com and use promo code, I'll put the promo code in the chat, but use that promo code at the end of the web address, Caleb, and you get 5% of your order put into the AMA prize fund. That's trackracer.com. Green flag is up. Big accident at the front. Justin Osterman hard in the wall. Caution is going to come back out. We've got black flags galore. Justin Osterman stopped on the front straightaway. Big time trouble at the restart. Holy mackerel. And we've stayed green through that. That's the crazy thing about that, Caleb. No caution came out.
Looking back on it, it just looked like possible wheel spin from the number 18 there, and that just caused them to go up into Osterman and cause that massive pileup. That took out a lot of the field there, Murph.
Yeah, they did, and we've got at least 6 cars with black flags, including many of the front runners. But there you see it. It's the wheel spin from the 18. Osterman was right on his door, and the melee was on. Vance gets involved. Mike Rigney takes a hit. So too Joshua Zorn. I'm pretty sure that half the field got a piece of that. And there go the black flags for everybody. Sergio Abella has come to the pit lane. His car was badly hurt in that fracas, and he's coming to pit road. All that's meant is that Franco Alvarez at the front has drawn away from Greg Evans. Kendall Paul, big loose up top of Sam Crow, and they've got Christian Light now in close attendance behind them, along with Edward Shearer, who fell all the way back to the 6th spot.
Yeah, Edward Shearer. He originally started on the front of that pit, on that race restart, but had that little bit of wheel spin and unfortunately had to drop back in the field. Just a little bit of mistake from him. on that restart, but he's still good. His car is still. It doesn't look like it actually has any damage. Just a little bit of scratching at most on the right side. It looks like his car is okay at the moment, and he's able to continue forward.
It does indeed. Sergio Abella sits in his pit box. Vance Fisher is also on the pit lane. Andrew Gates answered his damage. He's one lap down. That leaves 18 cars on the lead lap. And the other bad thing here, Franco Alvarez is about to close down, and you see the car just in front of Justin Osterman.
Yeah, so, Osterman he's missing his rear bumper there, and he's going to be massively off pace here.
Yeah, Justin Osterman is just hoping against hope that he can continue to circulate and make it to the stage break so that he can come and effect repair. He's got about a 3-second advantage here over Franco Alvarez. The problem is he's 2 seconds a lap slower. So Alvarez may have the chance to put Osterman a lap down. The good news for Osterman is that he would immediately be the lucky dog if indeed he does go one lap down, because Andrew Gates is the only other car one lap down, and Gates is at the tail end of this line. And so we're watching the battle for Alvarez into the wall. We're watching the battle for the end of Track Racer Stage number 1. The promo code for Track Racer is in the description. We're going to get the admin box caution here in just 2 laps' time, and Greg Evans has moved in on Alvarez. Can he get the lead?
Well, he looks up the inside briefly 3 wide as the lap car of Justin Osterman lets them through. Alvarez to the high side, Greg Evans to the bottom, and Greg Evans slots himself into the lead here over Franco Alvarez with 1 left to go in the stage.
He does indeed. Greg Evans will take charge of the field at the white flag for the stage break, and for Justin Osterman, that's bad news, because Justin Osterman wanted to stay on the lead lap so he could effect some serious repair to that machine. That's not going to happen. He'll get the lucky dog, but he's only going to get a chance really to do a quickie pit stop when that happens. Greg Evans is going to come off of turn number 4, though. He is going to lead home Franco Alvarez. Kendall Paul is going to be 3rd. Ryan O'Donoghue made it all the way back up to the 5th spot. Through all of that mess, O'Donoghue did not get contact. He made up 15 spots in 8 laps. So give a call down to Ryan O'Donoghue. For making up all that time. And now, if you're O'Donoghue, do you come down pit road as planned, or do you come down pit road as planned, or are you gonna stay out as planned?
There's no reason to waste a set of tires that are only basically 8 laps old, especially this early on in the race. Maybe come down and see if you got any damage from that restart. I wasn't able to look to see if he had any contact there on that restart, but we'll see if he does come down pit road and try to get some of that damage repaired if he's got any. I know some of the drivers in front of him got damage. I believe Franco Alvarez is one of those cases. I believe he's got a bit of front end damage on his number 41 machine, but we'll see what happens on this pit cycle here.
Yeah, this stage caution really is a welcome thing for most of the field. A lot of them got dented, dinged, banged, and battered around in that restart melee, and so there are going to be a lot of cars that hit pit road here, not just for tires and fuel, but to repair damage. And for Justin Osterman, unlucky for him that he went that lap down, because he's either going to have to surrender the lucky dog to get his car fixed, or he's going to have to hope that there's another yellow so that he can effect repair. And that car is severely damaged, and he's decided to give up the lucky dog and hit the pit lane.
Yeah, in the long run, if we do get in our caution, then he could probably get the lucky dog position back eventually, but he's going to have to fight for it a little bit over Andrew Gates here. So we'll see what he's able to do. Ryan O'Donoghue is already out pit lane. I'm guessing he only took fuel there on that pit stop. Greg Evans comes out second, Franco Alvarez in the 3rd off pit lane.
Yeah, 5.8 seconds in the box for Ryan O'Donohue. That's gas only, and he just, you might as well. You're going to have the lead either way. You might as well come and top the tanks off, and that can be a handling adjustment too, Caleb. It's fixed racing and stock cars. Even fewer. They have even fewer tools to adjust the handling, and so really, the amount of fuel in the tank is one of those adjustments. And Ryan O'Donohue voicing his displeasure with Sergio Abella there. Abella has the TV panel ripped off of that number 21. He, of course, is 3 laps down in the 20th spot, and he'll get the wave around here. Justin Osterman chimes into the chat. He's got some words for the 18 of Edward Shearer Jr. Tires spinning on that restart. That happens. And that's something that everybody that runs these things does need to look out for. Do want to thank everybody for tuning in. We've got another nice crowd on hand. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to P1 so that you can get in on all of the iRacing fun. It is the Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series live here on P1 on a Thursday night for the Be Weather Ready 300 presented by SKP Storm Tracker 78. The Storm Tracker himself is running in 4th. He'll have the outside of row 2. Ryan O'Donohue, Greg Evans are going to lead him away. And you got to wonder, is Greg Evans going to kind of sit behind Ryan O'Donohue and protect him, knowing he's got some older tires, or are those guys going to let it rip?
I think we'll see this in the first couple of laps if he decides to just kind of save tires for the second stage. Green flag is out. Ryan O'Donohue gets the jump. We'll see what Greg Evans does on that high side, whether or not he's going to push early on, knowing that Ryan O'Donohue's on slightly more worn tires, but he has Franco Alvarez to his inside, trying to look for that second place position. He gets it, and now Franco Alvarez looks to the inside of Ryan O'Donohue on the exit turn number 2.
Yeah, these two are going to go after it for that top spot. Justin Osterman with the black flag, and he has gone 2 laps down now. Meanwhile, Franco Alvarez has gone for the lead. Kendall Paul is 3rd, Greg Evans 4th. Sam Crow, very quietly for Sam, has moved into the pit spot.
Car on the wall in turn 4 as Randy Dunlap hard into the wall. We spin around the front stretch.
Yeah, and we've got Sergio Abella involved now, the number 13 of Andrew Gates. Caution is on the speedway, and a meatball for Randy Dunlap. So there were a couple of different incidents here. Here's Dunlap. He gets the thing loose coming off of turn number 4. Cold tires, smacks the wall. He does a good job, Caleb, of holding it up there and staying out of everybody's way. But then we're going to see Sergio Abella and Andrew Gates come through, and there's contact between Gates and Abella coming down the front straightaway. I don't think Andrew Gates really broke all that much for the car on the outside. He gets into the back of Abella. More contact for those two machines. Caution is back out on the speedway. Randy Dunlap is going to come in, and I bet you we're going to see Justin Osterman hit the pit lane again. He's still got the rear bumper cover missing off that car. The front end is still wrinkled, and there's a bunch of cars that are going to be doing that. All told, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars take significant repair that are still on the racetrack under that last yellow.
It's a battle scarring race here, Murph. We have a lot of worn cars very early on in this race, just over a quarter of the way through here. But a lot of our front runners kind of don't really have that much damage. Franco Alvarez, I think, is the only one within our top 5 that has any slight bit of damage on his front end there. But all in all, it's just it was just a very unfortunate circumstance what happened on that restart 2 times ago, and it's just one of those things where it's kind of hard to avoid it if it does happen.
You're absolutely right, Caleb. You're looking at Franco Alvarez had a normal pit stop in terms of time, and so it could have just been it was a couple of seconds, and the crew were able to fix that while he was on the pit lane. Justin Osterman has gone back to 1 lap down now. He has not stopped under this particular yellow flag. Of course, being the lucky dog, he has not been afforded that chance, and I bet he's going to... Excuse me. So I don't know that he will. I don't know that he'll come this time. Maybe he feels he can stay on the lead lap until the next caution, Caleb, or stay on 1 lap down until the next caution hits, and then he would be battling Andrew Gates for the final lucky dog spot, or for the lucky dog spot to get back on the lead lap next time.
Yeah, and all he has to do is just get around Andrew Gates, which is just right in front of him. So they'll effectively just be bound for the lucky dog spot, and if he's able to get off the initial restart, even with a damaged car, and just kind of maintain that, well, then he's got the job done. He does hit pit lane now to try to get that damage repaired. So we'll see if they're able to do the old Dale Sr. at Daytona strategy of get the duct tape out, boys, and we'll see if we can get the rear bumper back on.
Duct tape, hammers, chainsaws, whatever you can find to fix that baby. Break it out. Now, he's got to be careful because the pace car is in turn number 2. Osterman sits on pit lane. Really, he needs to watch it so that he exits pit road when the pace car gets to the middle of the backstretch so that he has enough time to catch the rear of the field. They're coming off of turn number 2 now. Down the back chute they go. Pace car is now exactly halfway through the lap, and so those guys on pit road, they need to get moving if they want to catch the back of this train before the green light comes back out. Osterman now moving. Vance Fisher and the 54 of Michael Kirk are still on pit lane, but that'll be all right. Osterman should be able to catch back up, and that's huge for him. He was able to get another 21 seconds of repair, and every little bit helps, Caleb, as we get ready to go back to green.
Green flag, green flag.
Franco Alvarez, Ryan O'Donohue lead him away. Alvarez, big jump. O'Donohue spun the tires a little bit, and that's going to let Kendall Paul jump to his inside. Greg Evans is trying to push his DVD Motorsports teammate past Kendall Paul and into that second spot. Now Evans backs off, drops to the bottom. O'Donohue, strong run, and he's going to give chase after Franco Alvarez one more time.
Yeah, he is. Ryan O'Donohue holding that high line there. We saw him do that very early on in the stint. At the very beginning of the race, we saw him ride that high line, and we'll see if he's able to gain on Franco Alvarez with that really big jump on that restart. Meanwhile, behind them, Sam Crow, Greg Evans going side by side, James Hodgson introducing himself into the picture, as well as Christian Light and Mike Ridney, all battling, trying to get to top 5 position here.
Yeah, they are. They are indeed. James Hodgson will drop below Christian Light, and he's going to try to make that maneuver into the 6th spot. Sam Crow had challenged Greg Evans for 4th. He's dropped back a little bit now. Christian Light will move to Sam's outside, and James Hodgson is saying, battle away, boys. I might try to pass through both of you. And Troy Carricker has also made his way into the battle. Look at that 94 up on the rail trying to make his way to the front.
There's smoke on the back. Oh, that's Sergio Bella. He smoke on the backstretch there. He's able to keep going there. I'm guessing a half spin of sorts. But Sam Crow and James Hodgson are going side by side. They're for a little bit of bump in there. They're 3 wide behind them. That is Troy Carricker, Lee Campbell, and Edward Shear Jr. going 3 wide going into turn number 1. Edward Shear gets the position, and now he's on the rear bumper of Mike Rigney.
He is indeed. Troy Carricker will keep that car wound up on the outside. Rigney doing battle with Shearer, and there they are. You've got Christian Light and Sam Crow going after it. Battles all over the place, really from about 5th on back. Christian Light is going to make the move. Contact between he and Sam Crow. Sam goes to the inside, goes to the grass. He saves it.
Saved by both drivers there. Both were completely sideways. They're going into turn number 1, able to save it. Really, really nice piece of drive from Sam Crow and Christian Light to keep their cars forward.
You know, that was quite the save from Sam Crow. Took my breath away. But what gets me is Sam drives the car through the grass, comes back up on the racetrack, and instead of racing Christian Light, all right, I'll just bang door handles with James Hodgson instead. He gets back past Hodgson, and now he's got company in the form of Edward Shearer. Meanwhile, a little bit further ahead, Greg Evans, Kendall Paul, and Mike Rigney, they're going to go after it, third, fourth, and fifth.
Yeah, Greg Evans able to get around Kendall Paul. We'll see if he's able to pull away from Kendall and try to close down on our leaders. Kendall has been very strong early on in this race. He was very strong throughout the course of stage number 1. Greg Evans started a little bit further back initially. We'll see if he's able to try to get himself back onto the top step in first place here.
Maybe so. Right now, Greg Evans has started to draw away from Kendall Paul, but Mike Rigney, Christian Light, and Sam Crow, you've got Edward Shearer now in that battle. A little bit further back, James Hodgson, Lee Campbell, Troy Carricker. These are all interested parties here, and this is a whale of a battle for that fourth spot. I know we're not focusing on the leaders. Franco Alvarez has about half a second over Ryan O'Donohue, but the action is for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Yeah, this small group of basically 3rd all the way back to 8th there. All you could throw a blanket all over them. Well, not quite. They're a little bit spread out more than that, but Greg Evans leads this this first pack, I should say. Kendall Paul right behind. Mike Rigney moves himself into the top 5 position. Christian Light and Edward Shearer going side by side for the 6th place position. Edward on the high side. We'll see. And Sam Crow just kind of lurking behind them. He desperately wants to get back inside the top 5. I guarantee you. He knows he has the pace to get back up there. We'll see when he's able to pounce and try to get back into that top 5 position.
Yeah, let's take a look and see what the number 8 of Sam Crow is seeing. You're inside the helmet of his Black Acid Chevrolet. He's going to go to the bottom of Christian Light, and we'll see what he can do here. Sam Crow puts it right on the white line. He does not go to the apron, but Sam Crow appears as though that he's going to make the move on Christian Light going into turn number 1. So put Sam Crow up to 7th. Meanwhile, Mike Rigney has not been able to navigate back past Kendall Paul. Kendall Paul hanging tough on the rear bumper of Greg Evans. Rigney has not been able to get there, and he's going to face a challenge from Edward Shearer.
And what's interesting about this is that Ryan O'Donohue has completely dropped off Franco Alvarez, and now his teammate Greg Evans has closed in significantly over Ryan O'Donohue. I'm very curious if that 8-lap older tires over the rest of the field is starting to show a little bit. As you see, Ryan still working that high line there. He's also got a little bit of dirty air in front of him with the lap traffic. So we'll see how his teammate Greg Evans, as well as Kendall Paul and the rest of the pack, are able to navigate around Ryan O'Donohue if they can. We know Ryan O'Donohue is very strong, especially towards the later half of the stint. We'll see if he's able to try to keep on to that 2nd place spot.
Yeah, for the people at home, for the fans at home, there's always a point, and you know the open wheel guys, because we're a bunch of nerds. We actually map out exactly where the points are in the tires. With the way that the tire model works in iRacing, we call them cliffs, and so there are points, a certain number of laps where the tires just you'll see a distinct drop in pace. My guess is that that's probably about 25 laps. Ryan O'Donohue has hit that cliff where the performance of his number 14 is pretty negatively affected, and you see Kendall Paul and Greg Evans have both gone past him now, but he's hit that cliff, and everybody else has yet to get there because the remainder of the field is only on 20 lap tires. Ryan O'Donohue, he's on 28 lap tires.
Yeah, it's just going to get progressively worse from there. He's got to manage the tires for another over 20 laps at this point as we work lap number 69. He's got to hang on for another 21 laps here going onto the back straightaway. Now he's got Sam Crow to his inside. He's just dropping like a fly right now, trying to just hold on to those tires. 8 laps doesn't seem like a lot, but apparently in the situation around Kansas, it is making a huge difference, and now he's trying to hold on to possibly a top 10 position at the end of stage number 2.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, he did the right thing. He had to pit for tires when he pitted for tires. He also really didn't want to burn a set when he made the pit stop at the stage. So he did the right thing, and Sergio Abella comes off the wall with an aggressive move and just about gets into Kendall Paul. And now Abella's around! Sergio Abella around! Nobody hits him!
All right, man. Caution is out.
Caution is on the speedway. Sergio Abella. Oh, buddy, that was crazy. Sergio Abella spins the car in front of Sam Crow and Christian Light. Just comes off the top. That car's been damaged. Nobody hits him. Watch this, Caleb. There's O'Donohue going high. Hodgson low. Hodgson might have grazed him a little bit. That's probably not going to hurt much. But Sergio Abella slides the car sideways in front of the field. Nobody hits him, or no severe contact at least. Caution is on the speedway, 71 of 200. And what that does, Caleb, is it may be a lifesaver for Ryan O'Donohue. Not because, and there comes Ryan O'Donohue. He's going to come down pit lane. So is Sam Crow. I was going to say, it could be a lifesaver just because caution laps don't hurt the tires. So it might help him, but he's decided to pit and get another set here.
So he's going to use his second set of tires. 5 total, or this is going to be his third set, excuse me. So he's got 5 tires total. So if he pits at the end of stage number 2, takes another set of tires, he's only going to have 1 set towards the end, whereas everybody else will have 2. It's going to be a gamble, all right. He possibly wants to get back up towards the front at the end of stage number 2. That's obviously why he pitted, but he's going to be a little bit worse strategy-wise if we get those late race cautions in stage number 3.
They're going to come out in the 12th spot. Sam Crow's 12th, Ryan O'Donohue 13th, Christopher Logan and Ted Craven also pitted 14th and 15th. Andrew Gates is going to be the lucky dog here, so he'll get back on the lead lap. That'll leave Justin Osterman 2 laps down, and Osterman is back on the pit road, affecting further repair. We are under the admin box caution flag here at Kansas for the AMA Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series. If you're a race controller, league admin, you run hosted series, check them out, www.adminbox.com. You need one of those things if you do those. If you put on your own iRacing events, I've got one. I know that Mike Rigney's got one, and there are several drivers that function as admins in the AMA that have them out on the course. And so check them out, adminbox.com. And Franco Alvarez, he's just hoping he doesn't spin up the tires. Justin Osterman is leaving the pit lane. He didn't lose any additional time, but he's back out. Sam Crow hit the pit lane one more time. I wonder if Sam doesn't have some damage there, Caleb.
It could be possible. It did look like there were some sparks flying when Sergio Pella was sideways in 3 and 4. Possibly got a little bit of fender damage that he tried to get repaired, but or possibly just a top up on fuel. You do want to have your ballast as much as possible towards the rear. That's why they fill up sometimes and come down pit lane again. So it could have just been that as well.
Yeah, it could have. I mean, and why not? It's under the yellow light. Why not come? You've already come. You're going to be at the back anyway. Meanwhile, we're going to get the restart here. Franco Alvarez has
Green.
the point. Greg Evans to his outside. This is as high as Greg Evans has been. Green flag is out. Racing resumes here at Kansas.
Greg Alvarez jumps to the lead early. He had, I want to say, about a 3-second lead before that caution came out. Now he's going to have to try to get that 3-second lead again over Greg Evans, who was hard charging through the field in the middle portion of this stage.
Yes, indeed. Take a look at Edward Shearer. He's climbed to the outside of Kendall Paul. He's going to go for that third spot. Shearer on the racing surface. Kendall Paul on the apron. Side by side off into turn 1.
Yeah, side by side for them. Meanwhile, Franco Alvarez and Greg Evans are going to go side by side. Alvarez on the high side, Greg Evans on the low side. Now Edward Shearer and Kendall Paul are going to go side by side. Our leaders are side by side. Franco sends it in deep, but Greg Evans sends it deeper, and it looks like he is able to get the position for the lead here. And now Franco Alvarez is going to make it 3 wide with Kendall Paul and Edward Shearer on the bottom.
They're going to get 2 wide by the time they get to turn number 1. That's Shearer on the bottom, Alvarez in the middle lane, Kendall Paul on the top. They're 3 wide for second, or then that second set of cars, because Ryan O'Donoghue has made it up there. He's going to slide to the bottom, make it 3 wide going into 3.
Yeah, on that fresher set of tires, he is slicing through the field right now. Holds that middle line. Now he's all over the back of his teammate Greg Evans, and now Ryan O'Donoghue
is going to
slot himself into the lead here.
Yeah, he's going to have the lead going into turn number 1. Greg Evans won't even fight it. He knows the tires are superior for that number 14 machine. Ryan O'Donoghue uses the fresh rubber and rockets out to the lead here at Kansas. Demote Greg Evans back to second, and they are still having a dispute over what is now 4th and 5th. That's Christian Light going into 4th, move Alvarez back to 5th, and Kendall Paul has fallen back a little bit into that 6th spot. He's got Mike Rigney, James Hutchins, and John Hutchins rather, coming as well. The front 9 from about 3rd to 9th, all over one another. Troy Carricker is in 10th, and he's back just a little bit of a ways there, but the front 9 all right together.
Yeah, they're still very close together. Just over 10 laps remaining in the stage.
Contact.
Franco Alvarez hard into the wall there. Gets really close to Kendall Paul. Kendall's able to get that position going into turn number 1. And now that allows Mike Rigney to look up the inside of Franco Alvarez.
Briefly 3 wide, then they get 2. The John Van Varela special of Mike Rigney's going to dive to the bottom of Franco Alvarez and see if he can't lay claim to the 7th spot. Rigney on the bottom, Alvarez in the middle, nobody up top. You've got James Hodgson and John Hutchins behind them. They're looking at a battle for 8th and 9th. Sam Crow has made it back to 10th, and so Sam Crow is on a charge here with 10 laps to go in the stage.
Yeah, Sam Crow started at the rear of the field paying again. Now he's trying to gain as much time as possible. We saw Ryan slice through the field. Sam Crow not able to be quite as efficient with it, but he's side by side with James Hodgson there. Now he's looking on the inside. Mike Rigney through 3 and 4. We'll see if he's able to get the run on the front straightaway. He does. Now he's on the inside of Franco Alvarez for that 6th place position.
They are indeed. Sam Crow's not going to go by Franco Alvarez, and so move Sam Crow into 6th. He's going to give chase off to Kendall Paul, and it could be a DVD 1, 2, 3, but not the way that you would have thought. Ryan O'Donoghue is gone, 3.6 seconds ahead of Greg Evans. Evans pretty secure in 2nd. Christian Light's going to make the move under Edward Shearer for 3rd. Kendall Paul's going to try to follow suit, but I don't think they're going to be able to hold off the tires of Sam Crow for very long. Sam Crow is going to climb to the high side of Kendall Paul. Kendall Paul uses the apron to get back with Edward Shearer, but it's just a matter of time for Sam Crow, and we've got more smoke ahead. Woo! Caleb, it might be getting a little bit of argy-bargy there back in the pack. We're watching Sam Crow. His teammate, he and teammate Ryan O'Donoghue stopped under that last yellow. They've got 10-lap-old tires, and they are using them to great effect. Their rubber is about 25 laps younger than everybody else around him. Sam Crow underneath Edward Shearer now, make him 4th. And he should be able to dispose of Christian Light here pretty shortly. That'll put him in 3rd, and then it's just Greg Evans ahead of him to get to 2nd.
Yeah, he looks up the inside, and then just like that, he's into the third place position. He's got plenty of time to go get Greg Evans. I think Ryan O'Donoghue was a little bit out of the picture there, but we'll see if he's able to get Greg Evans before the end of the stage. He has about 7 laps to do it. They got the lap car of Sergio Bella on the bottom there. They're able to navigate around him a little bit further back there. Oh, they're briefly through wide trying to get around Sergio Bella for that trying to battle for the third place or a fourth place position.
They are indeed. Sam Crow has now caught Greg Evans, and this is going to answer the question about tires, I think, Caleb. When it comes down to time to talk turkey, you're going to want 4 Mr. Feelgoods on your machine at the end of this. When Sam Crow dives the inside of Greg Evans, he'll have that spot. Kendall Paul will complete the pass on Christian Light, so that'll be for the 4th spot. Move Christian Light back to 5th. Behind them, Edward Shear and Ted Craven, the teddy bear, also on new tires. He's moved himself up to 6th. Ted Craven is looking for more. He's going to try to get to the outside of Christian Light and move past Light and Kendall Paul, and that would be by far the best that we've seen Ted Craven run in an AMA event this year.
Yeah, he is. The new tires helping him immensely here. Now, I believe he is going to get a 5th place position possibly at the end of stage number 2 here. He has about 4 laps to do it, but he's got 2 cars battling in front. Does he force the 3 wide going through 3 and 4? No, he goes to the bottom, thinks better of it. Let's see what he's able to do for these next 4 laps here, Murph.
I've had occasion to spend some time with Ted Craven. That is a gentleman racer if you've ever saw one. He knows that Kendall Paul is involved in a championship fight. He's not going to do anything that would endanger the race car for Kendall Paul. You can tell he's faster, but you can also tell he's not going to make an aggressive move knowing that one of the championship contenders is in front of him. Meanwhile, Kendall Paul and Christian Light continue to fight over that 4th spot, and all that's done is Craven gets into the wall, just barely avoids Edward Shearer, and that'll move Shearer back to 6th. But for those drivers, you know, for Ted Craven, you know, he's just looking at, you know, finishing in the top 10 in the stage. We'll see him dive to the bottom here. Lost my train of thought. He'll dive to the bottom, back under Edward Shear. If he can make the pass, he'll make it cleanly, but he's not going to force the issue, Caleb.
No, he won't indeed. He's only got about just under 2 laps to do it. He's got the 5th place position there, looking up the inside of Edward Shear. Let's see what he's able to do on Christian Light now as Kendall Paul finally able to secure that 4th place spot there over Christian Light. It seemed like they went battle side by side for the last 10 laps here, but now Ted Craven looks up the inside of Christian Light. He's got the run on the front stretch. They are 3 wide coming across the start-finish line.
Ted Craven on the bottom, Christian Light in the middle, and he will lift out of that. That will allow Shear and Craven to go through, and Ted Craven is going to lay claim to that 5th spot. This is the last lap of the stage. Ryan O'Donoghue answered our question about tires. He is all by his lonesome, 5 seconds ahead of Sam Crow. He will win stage number 2. Sam Crow is through in 2nd. And then here comes the gaggle. Kendall Paul, Ted Craven, Edward Shear, Christian Light, Franco Alvarez, James Hodgson, and Mike Rigney with a stage point as we come to the end of Blackmagic Studios stage number 2. Blackmagic Studios is a small operation dedicated to high-quality iRacing paints and wraps for any, and I do mean any car, Caleb. You can visit them on Discord or Facebook for your next high-quality iRacing paint. When you see me in the number 69 on P1, that red, white, and blue chrome Indy Alliance racing machine is a Blackmagic Studios wrap. I'm not quite as bald eagle as you, Caleb. I don't have gold wings.
Well, I actually personally added that to the livery to obviously celebrate the greatest, probably will be the greatest hockey moment of my entire life because the Blue Jackets suck. when USA won gold over Canada. Thank you, Jack Hughes and Connor Hellebuck.
Here's the thing. You think I should tell Andy to get some gold wings on my car? We could match.
I think we need to do it. Murph, I did something terrible. I forgot to put the livery on for Votive at Homestead. I ran the normal I5G livery, and I forgot to put Freebird on for Votive. So I feel like we got to do it for Votive if we're going to do it. We got to have the gold wings.
Shame on you for being forgetful, Caleb Brashear. Everybody has brought their cars down the pit lane, with the exception of some of the lappers that are going to try to get the wave around. It's worth mentioning that Justin Osterman has, although he's continued to effect repair after repair, he is now 8 laps off the pace. Ryan O'Donohue is going to bring his machine into the pit lane along with everybody else. I keep wanting to call Franco Alvarez Sergio Abella. So I'm going to have to beat that out of me. But here we go. Off pit road, O'Donohue, Crow, Evans, Kendall, Paul, Edward Shearer, then Franco Alvarez is beaten to the line by Ted Craven. So how about that? Matty Wagner checking into the chat. He says he wants you to run the Gold Wings and Horizon. And then he says he made the Fast 12 for the Elite Racing League Indy 500 qualifying tonight. And then he's decided that he's just decided now that you and I need a talking to, I think, Caleb.
Oh, no. Are we in trouble?
Probably. I came across one of the better memes that I've seen in a while. It says, for once, maybe somebody will call me sir. And that's without adding you're making a scene at the end of it. So there you go.
I like that. I like that one.
I thought you'd find that quite funny. Justin Osterman says he's just out there riding. And I get you. Ryan O'Donohue's going to line up with the lead to begin the final stage. It's going to be 106 laps to settle it here at Kansas. They're going to have to make a stop. Fuel run anywhere between 50 and 60 laps, and so there's going to have to be at least one more stop. The thing for Ryan O'Donohue is he's only got one set of sticker tires down there. A lot of his, same for Sam Crow, a lot of his competitors have 2. And so Ryan O'Donohue is kind of behind the 8 ball when it comes to tires here. Caleb, we'll see. What transpires. Do want to thank everybody for tuning in, by the way. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to P1 so that you can get in on all of the iRacing fun. This is the AMA Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series live from Kansas. Ryan O'Donohue, Sam Crow, Greg Evans, Kendall Paul, Edward Shearer, James Hodgson going to lead him back to the green flag, Caleb.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag is out. Ryan O'Donohue gets the jump. Greg Evans will go to second. That'll leave Sam Crow to battle Edward Shearer Jr. for third. Crow on the outside. Shearer will get through, and now Sam Crow's going to fall under fire from Kendall Paul for fourth.
Yeah, Sam Crow able to slot himself into that 4th place spot. Kendall Paul gets a little bit bump from Christian Light just before turn number 3 there. No harm, no foul, though. But now, Edward Shearer Jr. is looking up the inside. Greg Evans for that 2nd place spot and maybe possibly get Ryan O'Donohue for the lead going into turn number 1.
Edward Shearer Jr. has made the move to the bottom, and he will fly into that 1st place spot. Move Ryan O'Donohue back to 2nd. Greg Evans is going to be 3rd, and Sam Crow has made it back to 4th.
Yeah, Sam Crow in that 4th place position. 2, 3, and 4. These teammates run. Kendall Paul has actually dropped back into the 6th place position. Christian Light has gotten himself inside of the top 5 now. And our leader has pulled away quite a bit over 2nd place Greg Evans. But you got to think, how much is he pushing that tire right now, Murph?
That's a great question. You can do that, and you're banking if you're sure you're going to go flat out. You're going to go about 10 laps, 15 laps, get a caution. Go flat out again, get 10, 15 laps, get a caution. Go 10 or 15, get a caution. If this thing stays green, he might be pushing them way too hard, way too fast. We'll see. The battle is behind him, though. Christian Light has made it past Sam Crow, and Troy Carricker goes to the outside. He is fifth. Move Troy Carricker up to the top 5. We've got a spinner in the back. It's Michael Kirk. He's going to be down on the apron. Don't believe that will bring out a caution. We'll stay green. But here comes Troy Carricker.
Yeah, here comes Troy Carricker. Meanwhile, Christian Light has slotted himself into that third place position, and Greg Evans is right in front of him. Now, we see that Greg Evans do this a number of times, especially with the last 2 races being short tracks at Bristol and Rockingham. We see him drop back off the start of a stage, but you'll see him slowly gain back towards the front as he right now is only thinking about tire saving. At the beginning of stage number 3. And we see him do that at Bristol. We see him do that at Rockingham. And that's the reason he was able to be strong at those races.
Yeah, I don't think he's worried about Edward Shearer Jr. in front of him. He's running to a pace. He's saving those tires. Christian Light, Troy Carricker, Edward Shearer, most certainly. Those drivers are saying, you know what? I want to go fast and have fun, and so they're gonna stand in the gas. Greg Evans, he's going to be more than content to let those guys go because he knows in about 20 laps time he's going to start reeling them in. Troy Carricker goes around Ryan O'Donoghue, and now Carricker will begin to work on Greg Evans for the 3rd spot.
Yes, he is indeed. He's working that middle line. Now kind of is alongside Greg Evans. And looks like he's able to get the position here. Yes, he does. He's able to clear Greg Evans off the corner. Greg clearly is choosing to save his tires quite a bit more than his competitors around him. Let's see how much they're able to pull away for the time being. Now Ryan O'Donoghue has got Kendall Paul to his inside. Behind them, that is, I'm not able to make that, is Mike Rigney and Sam Crow going side by side for that 7th place position.
They are indeed. Troy Carricker has moved his car into the 2nd spot past Christian Light. The battle rages behind them. Greg Evans is now 4th. O'Donoghue 5th. He's got Kendall Paul side by side. And then behind them, you've got the John Van Varello special of Mike Rigney in 7th. Sam Crow is 8th. James Hodgson 9th and John Hudgens 10th. So those 2 cars have continued to be in the mix. But it's all going to... This is all fun and dandy here. Great battle continues for 2nd. Christian Light trying to get past Troy Carricker as Edward Shearer leads away by 3.2 seconds. It's all fun right now, Caleb, but what's going to happen when we get to about lap 120 here? That's the question. We are now 7 laps away from that mark. At that point, there will be 18 laps on the tires, and that's where I think some of the abuse that some of these cars are putting into those tires is going to begin to show. We saw it with Ryan O'Donoghue after he had about 20 green flag laps on his, and everybody else had new tires. He went straight to the back.
Yeah, he did indeed. He looks like he's able to manage it a little bit better, just kind of holding pace with Kendall Paul at the moment. Meanwhile, our leader, he is shot out way in front of everybody else. He has the clean air, and he's able to maintain pace. And one thing we also got to consider is that, well, most of these drivers have an additional 2 sets over their pit box at the moment. So could they possibly pit early, try the undercut strategy, and try to push as much as they can right now, do the undercut strategy, make those tires, second set of tires, last as long as they can. And if they got a late-stage caution, well, they should be out in the lead theoretically, but still have that set of tires for that late-run push if it does happen.
That could be the strategy. Go hard now, short pit it, and hope for a late-race yellow. For whatever the strategy is for Edward Shearer, he is blistering this field. He's up 3.5 seconds, and he is running about a tenth quicker than Troy Carricker, Christian Light, Greg Evans, and Kendall Paul, who are behind him. Christian Light and Troy Carricker continue to do battle for that second spot. And Greg Evans is the interested party. Let's jump on board with the Deuce, Greg Evans, and kind of show you what he sees here navigating the Kansas Speedway. The other thing that's going to help these drivers, out, Caleb, is the sun is beginning to set. The lights are going to come on in this stage, and so the track is going to begin to cool. Right now, it's 74 in the air, 82 on the track. I would expect that track temp to drop another 5 degrees as darkness falls here.
Yeah, the track just going to get cooler. It might get a little bit greasier, but theoretically, it should get faster as we go into the night. I'm looking at the front of the field here. Troy Carricker and Christian Light still going side by side. Christian trying to work that bottom. Troy trying to work that high line. And it doesn't look like Christian's able to just quite get the fender on Troy to get this second place spot.
Well, there he goes. He's actually got more than a fender. We're watching it from onboard Greg Evans. Troy Carricker is going to lose that second spot to Christian Light as we work lap 109. There's Carricker. He's seen Christian Light sail past. Now, Carricker came from the back half of the top 10 for certain sure on that restart. He drove around everybody on the top. We know that can be quick, Caleb, but we also know that can burn the tires pretty substantially.
Yeah, it is. We saw that kind of happen with Ryan O'Donohue at the end, or towards the middle of the first stage. He ran the high line a lot and kind of fell back. We'll see how Troy Carricker is able to work with that strategy. He's dropped a little bit to Greg Evans behind. Greg looks like he's going to have a run going down this front straightaway. We'll see if he's able to get him through turns 1 and 2.
We will see indeed. Greg Evans looking to the inside now of Troy Carricker. He's got Kendall Paul, Ryan O'Donohue, and Mike Rigney in tow. So we'll see how he can. We'll see if Greg Evans wants to go or if he's just going to kind of ride. The good news for Evans is, one, Christian Light really hasn't gotten away. The other part is that Troy Carricker and Carricker lose Carricker in the wall, but Troy Carricker not running the bottom, and that squiggle there is going to cost 3 spots for Troy Carricker, if not more, because the train is coming on the bottom.
Yeah, it is, and you could just see how much tire he has lost here. He's lost significant amount of places just in the last lap or so, and now he slots himself behind Mike Rigney. Now has James Hodgson on his inside coming off turn number 4. To me, this would be a strategy call of, okay, we probably should need the pit soon. That way we can have fresher tires now, and then that way I believe he still has another set. I don't believe he did any offsetting strategies to where he only did the one stop at the end of stage number 1, the other stop at the end of stage number 2. So if he has 2 sets of tires, maybe you make the gamble and you pit right now or as within the next 5 laps or so and try the undercut strategy to try to regain as much time as you can.
Maybe you do, maybe you don't. We'll see. Do want to thank everybody for tuning it in. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel. You are watching the AMA Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series live from Kansas here in iRacing. Troy Carricker is losing time in a hurry, Caleb. I believe the tires on that machine are toast. Meanwhile, Ted Craven has already come to pit road, and he's got a speeding ticket. And so Ted Craven is going to have to serve a penalty. He came at lap 113.
I'm still looking at Troy Carricker. He's the loss of position to John Hodgkins. His tires are absolutely fried right now. He's got to pit very, very soon here.
Well, and look, I mean, you know, if you're Carricker, making the extra stop over 110 laps is not going to win the race. I tried that once actually in the truck race here, where I made the extra stop. The thing stayed green, and I wound up finishing a lap down. Led the race for a while in the middle, But when you have to make the extra stop, it really hurts you. Greg Evans now has gone around Christian Light, and that's going to mean Kendall Paul is likely going to follow suit here within the next few laps. Christian Light starting to feel the effects of the worn tires, but you talk about Troy Carricker, he's now a half a second off the pace, Caleb.
Yeah, his tires are absolutely shredded here. Trying to look and see. Greg Evans, I'm looking at Greg Evans right now. He saw himself into the second place position. He got around Christian Light, and now Christian Light has Kendall Paul to his rear quarter panel. Let's Kendall Paul up the inside, able to get the position through turn number 3. And I'm looking at the pace of Greg Evans and Kendall Paul compared to our leader here, Edward Shear Jr. It is about the same pace. Actually, Edward Shear Jr. was slightly faster last time. So even though Edward Shear really pushing early on, he is still gaining on the second place car, Greg Evans, just a little bit, or at least able to maintain the same pace as him.
It had been coming down just a little bit. It had been coming down just a little bit, but then Edward Shearer punched the pace back up and began to draw away. Greg Evans had been making some inroads, but not anymore. And my theory did not hold. I said, 20 laps in, Greg Evans would start to reel him back down. Ryan O'Donohue has gone by Christian Light. Mike Rigney's a little bit further back. But let's talk about this, because Edward Shearer now leads it by 3.7 seconds over Greg Evans, and there's Evans running along in that second spot. He is leading the train as they try to run down Edward Shearer. But look, last time through, Edward Shearer 32.302, 32.217 for Greg Evans, and Kendall Paul ran an identical lap time to Greg Evans. Ryan O'Donohue 32.239, Christian Light 32.161. So these cars they've got a chance now where they can start matching or slowly reeling in Edward Shearer. I don't know if they can catch him 4 seconds over the next 25 to 30 laps, which is the fuel window, though, Caleb.
Yeah, it is. Edward Shearer has pulled off that jump on that restart over the rest of the field to almost perfectly, honestly. He is still faster than second place at the moment, Greg Evans. He's still pulling away from them. So he is managing his tires better than everybody else, and he's able to maintain pace better than everybody else despite pushing really hard in his sin. That is very impressive from our leader here.
It is very impressive, more so because, you would have thought, the smart money would have thought, that Edward Shearer would have started to fall back. He has not done so. As a matter of fact, he has continued to draw away more or less from Greg Evans, and there you see him. Now we'll go back. And take a look at. Take a look at some other drivers through the field. Why don't we go through the field, Caleb? Edward Shearer is your leader. He's putting a lap on Sergio Abella, and that's the interval. It is just about the length of the back straightaway. Greg Evans is second, and there's the Deuce running in the number 2 position. He's got Kendall Paul right behind him in third. Ryan O'Donohue is fourth. He's got the challenge from Christian Light, and those two have been in a pretty decent scrap for about the last 5 laps. It looks as though Ryan O'Donohue just might finally have the measure of Christian Light in fifth. Behind them, Mike Rigney in the John Van Varela Special, and there's Mike in sixth. Sam Crow for Black Acid Apparel is seventh. James Hodgson runs along in 8th in the forward-facing 88. Lee Campbell in the plain white wrapper is 9th, and John Hutchins works to his outside, trying to take that 9th spot away. That's 9th and 10th. Sergio Abella has come back to the pit lane, just to kind of let you guys know. Christopher Logan, and there's Chris in the 70 in the Wheelan entry. He is 11th. Troy Carricker gave it a good ride up to the second spot. Thought he might have a shot at beginning to run down Edward Shearer, but he's run out of tires. Troy Carricker is now 12th. There he is, and he looks like he might be coming to pit lane, to be completely honest with you. He does, yeah, he's going to come make a pit stop. So Troy Carricker is going to hit the pit lane at lap 125. Franco Alvarez, your early leader, is 14th. He is the final car on the lead lap. Joshua Zorn in the Napa machine still circulates. He is 15th, 3 laps down. Ted Craven, the teddy bear, he also had a really good run to end the second stage. Speeding ticket, he is 5 laps down. Andrew Gates is on the pit lane, and he at 7 laps down. He is about to be passed, and this is why you never give up, Caleb, by Justin Osterman. Mr. Excitement just made up a spot. He's in a championship fight here. He's among the top 6, and so Justin Osterman, at any point you can get it. Those are the remaining cars in this race. Sergio Abella, Vance Fisher, Michael Kirk, Randy Dunlap, Crash Neon, Say Hey Lewis Hayes, Donald Green, David Dunwoody, and Brian Sharp are all out of the event. We're going to flop back to the battle for 9th and 10th. John Hutchins on the outside, Lee Campbell on the bottom, Christopher Logan right there, 9th, 10th, and 11th. No, that's Ted Craven. Take that back. I thought that was Christopher Logan. I need to get my eyes checked. Driver.
I think that's called getting old there, Murph. You need to get your eyes checked a little bit more as you get older. And as we see Ted Craven make it 3 wide and actually pass John Hutchins and Christopher Logan, not for position, but just having the fresher tires able to navigate around through turns 3 and 4 there. We'll see if he's able to make up any time on Joshua Zorn for that 15th place position.
Now, it's worth mentioning Troy Carricker is going to make the extra stop, right? He stopped at 125. He's back out on the racing surface. He's 1 lap down, but those new tires are going to turn his number 94 into a rocket ship. Once everybody else pits, he's going to have anywhere between a 5 and a 10-second lead over the field. And then it's going to be a matter of, does he get the caution flag after everybody else has stopped, but before he has to make his second stop in order to bail him out? That's going to be the question for Troy Carricker. He's going to need that. He's going to need a yellow while he's still leading, but after everybody else has stopped, in order to make that strategy come good, and it is possible. Lee Campbell has made it past. The car he was fighting, and so too has James Hodgson. John Hutchins is back to 10th. Mike Rigney has now caught Christian Light, and this would be for the top 5. Rigney and Crow very interested in the 96 of Christian Light.
Yeah, it is. They're going side by side. Mike Rigney thought about the high side. He gets the door shut on him, tries the cutback a little bit, not able to quite get a fender there going through turns number 1 and 2. And these guys were running very strong earlier on. They're still in the top, or battling for the top 5 position, but they have dropped a little bit off the likes of Kendall Paul and Ryan O'Donoghue in front, and now Sam Crow is all over the back of them. Sam Crow was originally in second at the end of stage number 2. He is back in that 7th place position. We'll see. I wonder if he's managing his tires just a little bit harder. We saw him do that at Rockingham, and that's the reason he won here in the Grand National race at Rockingham. He was just able to stay tire better there than anybody else. We'll see if he's able to replicate that same feeling as we get later into the night here.
You know, it's possible. Rockingham's a little bit different, though. You use the brakes at Rockingham. The corners are a little bit shorter. The surface much more abrasive. Here, it's much more about throttle control than it is braking markers and things of that nature. But Sam Crow, a highly experienced driver. He's been around iRacing for a long, long time. Been around real racing for a very long time, the real life stuff. And so Sam Crow knows how to get the most out of that 8 and he is in a pretty good spot in 7th. Mike Rigney is still working over Christian Light for that 5th spot. Every other position on the track is more or less status quo, although Greg Evans has now cut the advantage for Edward Shear in half. It was north of 5 seconds at one point. Now it's 2.5. And Greg Evans has consistently been taking 1/10 to 2/10 out of Edward Shear for the last several laps. So we'll keep an eye on that. When Greg Evans begins to get within a second, we'll focus back on the lead. We are at 136 of 200 here at Kansas. You're watching the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series live on P1. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel so that you too can get in on all of the iRacing fun. Caleb, this battle hasn't gone away, has it? Now it's a threesome with Light, Rigney, and Crow. It's the best one on the track. It's for 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Yeah, it is. And Mike Rigney dropped a little bit back there going through 3 and 4 last time around. Sam Crow looks like he is also dropping a little bit back. So possibly it's the opposite of what I thought. Maybe Sam Crow has cooked his tires a little bit as he got the number 9 in Joshua Zorn. He is currently 3 laps down, making a move on Sam Crow's inside. And Sam Crow has now dropped about 4 to 5 car lengths over Mike Rigney for try to battle for the top 5 position with both Mike and Christian Light here.
Yes, he is. And Mike Rigney has not gone away. Now, Joshua Zorn came out in the middle, came out of the pit lane into the middle of this battle. Well, he was dropped into the middle of this battle. He's 3 laps down. Zorn 45 laps on his current tires, same as everybody else. But that's caused Sam Crow to drop a little bit away from this fight between Rigney, Light, and Crow for the 5th spot. One of the things that I'm noticing is Mike Rigney is not going all the way down to the bottom. He's not using the apron as Christian Light is. And look, Joshua Zorn, he's going to go past Mike Rigney. Zorn is a really, really good shoe, Caleb. He's pretty quick. So, if he can get up and race you, he's going to do it. Joshua Zorn has allowed Christian Light, though, to escape a little bit. And Sam Crow, James Hodgson, they're going to be all over the back of Mike Rigney.
Yes, they are indeed. That gap got closer together. They've dropped a little bit from the lead of the pack here, Christian Light. About 0.2 of a second last time around. So they are fighting with the other car. They had Joshua Zorn battle a little bit, so that was a factor in reason they lost time. But they seem to be closing that gap just ever so slightly last time around. They were about a 10th faster coming across the line last time. So we'll see if they're able to gain that gap back. Of course, there is a situation with tires. It's a situation of how they are able to maintain pace for the rest of the race. So we'll see what happens if they're able to keep gaining on the number 96 of Christian Light for a position in the top 5.
Yeah, we'll definitely check that out. It's worth reporting Troy Carricker is 14th. He's still a lap down. There's Troy. He's got 15 laps on his tires, but he has been anywhere between, I've seen as much as a second to half a second. A couple of laps ago, it was 0.7 of a second. He's working through some traffic, but he has been by far, as you would expect with the youngest tires, the fastest machine on the speedway. Eric Corder has finally cried uncle with his tires. He's coming to pit lane. But it's going to be interesting to see where Troy Carricker cycles out here because he's on the front straightaway now going into turn 1. So there's Troy in the 94. The 18 of Scherer is at the start finish line right about now, and so Carricker is about a lap and a third down to the lead, and that would tell me that he's likely going to inherit the lead. You lose about a lap and a half when you stop. He's going to inherit the lead whenever everybody else stops if it stays green. Critically, he's also the lucky dog at this point.
Yeah, so if a caution does come out, well, he's going to at least get the lucky dog position. As we see a little bit of argy-bargy with him and Mr. Excitement, Justin Osterman. He's got the lucky dog position, so he doesn't need to worry about that unless, obviously, there's a wreck and the car in the wreck gets the lucky dog position. Then, well, he's SOL at that point. But I think you said 50 to 60. I think you can go a little bit longer than that. I think 75 is just outside of the range. If it is just outside of the range, he probably would have been safe to try to hit that number possibly, and we might have seen some slower lap times from him just to try to save fuel as much as possible. But I believe he is full push. I don't think he can make it to the end. 75 is a bit of a stretch in these NASCAR cars.
He's not trying to make it. He knows he's going to stop again about 170, 175. He knows he's stopping again. What he's banking on is that these cars are going to come in at 150, 160. He's going to inherit the lead, and then he's hoping that a caution comes out at some point, and then he's going to stay out as long as he can. He's hoping at some point the caution comes out while he's leading, but after everybody else has stopped, because that's going to trigger everybody to come in and get their last set of tires. He will then come in and get his last set, and he'll have the lead for the trophy dash to the end. That's the gamble that Troy Carricker is making, right? And right now it seems to be a decent one, because he's going to have the lead for 10 or 15 laps probably, at least that amount of time that it takes everybody else to run him down. He's going to have it for about 10 laps. Lee Campbell has dove on the pit lane and got himself a speeding ticket for his troubles. So Lee Campbell has penalized himself away. Say Hey Lewis Hayes says it's a 51-lap fuel run. Well, they're on lap 55 now, Lewis. So we know they can go more than 50. I would think
Greg Evans to pit lane.
Yeah, Greg Evans is coming to pit lane now, so
Ryan O'Donoghue pit lane.
Yeah,
Paul to the pit lane.
Everybody's coming, and they're like I said, right at 150. Everybody into the pits. Lee Campbell is disconnected from the server. John Hutchins nearly wipes out getting on the pit lane. That's going to continue to allow Edward Shear Jr. to lead this race. Christian Light is going to move into second. And here comes Shear at 149, coming to get 150. Slow her down, buddy. Is Christian Light going to come? He is indeed. James Hodgson has already been to the pit lane. No, Hodgson is going to stay out. So James Hodgson is going to go for another round. And let's ride on board with him just to kind of show everybody what it's like to try to get on a pit lane here at Kansas. There's James Hodgson from under the helmet. Here he is. He's going to hit the apron. That's a very difficult transition. Slow her down, James. Slow down, slow down, slow down. There's the cone where you have to be at the speed limit, and James Hodgson is on the pit lane, and that should hand the lead to this man, Troy Carricker, when he comes back around. It actually does not. Edward Shear Jr. made it back out in front of Troy Carricker, and Greg Evans is right there. So Carricker may wind up third after all this happens, although he's going to have a nice advantage over Ryan O'Donoghue, at least for a few laps. So for Troy Carricker, what he wants now is about a 5 to 10 lap run and a caution, Caleb.
Yes, he is indeed. He's going to be suffering quite a bit here on those very old, worn Goodyear tires. Right in front of him, Edward Shear Jr. and Greg Evans. Edward did on the initial restart, he was able to gain a lot of time over Greg Evans. We'll see if he's able to do that coming off of pit lane. But now Greg Evans is within draft range. He's gained about 3 seconds over Ed Shear Jr. It was about 3 seconds right when they came to pit lane. It's only about half a second now, and now this is the battle for the lead here, and it's going to go right to the end.
You know, it most certainly is. And here's the thing. Greg Evans is sized, he sized Shearer up in that first run. He knows he probably saved a little bit too much. He also knows that Shearer was able to keep the pace for a lot longer. He knows Shearer was able to keep the pace for a lot longer than most of us would have anticipated, Caleb. And so, for Evans, he's probably thinking, look, I gotta go. I gotta get out here and go a little bit quicker than I did at the start of that last stint.
Yeah, he is. It's the Greg Evans trademark at the start of stages is where he always drops back initially, and then you see him progressively get back towards the front. We saw that a little bit. It was originally 5 seconds, as you said, and he was able to get around 2.5 at the closest point, but eventually dropped back to about 3 seconds when they finally pitted. So he knows he probably needs to push a little bit harder and stay within the draft of Edward Shear Jr. to try to manage gain a win and try and get around him towards the end of this race.
Well, here's the thing too, Caleb, and this is something worth pointing out. They spotted Edward Shear about a 3-second lead before they ever tried to start running him down last time. It is much closer. On this run. We're talking about less than a second between those two machines as they circulate here at Kansas during what we believe to be the final run of the race, at least for these two. Ryan O'Donoghue has gotten past Troy Carricker, who still holds fourth. Kendall Paul is fifth. The good news for Carricker is that James Hodgson is something like 16 seconds behind the lead, so it's going to take a few laps for him to fall any further down that running order. So, caution comes out at lap 160, 165 or so. That's gamble paid off for Troy Carricker.
Yes, it does indeed. Hold on to a top 5 position would be absolutely incredible. He started from the 17th place position. We had a bit of chaos, and he was able to avoid it. And now he finds himself just inside of the top 5 here with less than a quarter of the way of the race to go.
Absolutely. All eyes on Edward Shearer Jr., Greg Evans. And Shearer has started to pull away from Evans just a little bit. Shearer now extends the lead to 1.1 seconds. Evans second. O'Donoghue third. And there are big gaps now between the cars. About a second between P1 and P2. Ryan O'Donoghue, and there's O'Donoghue, is 4 seconds behind Greg Evans. Then you got to go another 4 seconds back to Kendall Paul. Another 2.5 seconds to Troy Carricker. And there's Carricker. Of course, his tires are 23 laps older. But for Carricker, James Hodgson's is 5.5 seconds behind him, and Hodgson's is really only about half a second quicker at this point, and that delta is going to continue to close in terms of lap time. So Carricker may be able to hold that 5th spot until he gets to a point where he has to stop. He is going to have to stop in 18 laps, we think, which would be at 178, excuse me.
Yeah, he's banking on a caution, like we said before. He didn't lose that much time last time around. It was only just about half a second, as we said. Right behind him, Ted Craven really hard into the wall. Right behind Troy Carricker, he's able to continue to go forward. But currently, also looking at the gap between the leaders and between Edward Shear Jr. and Craig Evans, that gap has ever so slightly increased again.
Yeah, there it is, 1.3 seconds. So Edward Shear has started to draw away from Greg Evans. The best battle on the track, by the way, is right here. It's Mike Rigney on James Hodgson. Hodgson 6th, Rigney 7th. They're really the only two that are in close contact. Sam Crow has John Hutchins behind him, and here's that battle. And they've got Christian Light in 11th. But really, these positions are more or less locked down until Troy Carricker gets his caution. And there's Rigney and Hodgson. They are catching Carricker now. This time through Carricker 32.641, Hodgson 31.649. So he's losing now a second a lap.
Yeah, it was a gamble on his part. Just he desperately needs a caution at this point. He's going to try to extend that fuel as much as possible, but it can only go so far. And not only that, with the tires, the tires could also only go so far. It's still a gamble at this point, but as we get further and further and we get more spread out in the field, the less likely a caution is going to come out for him. And not saying it won't happen, but at this point, the field is fairly spread out to where we're going to need a single driver mistake to for anything to happen.
Yes, he does. We're continuing to watch. The gap is now that between James Hodgson and Troy Carricker. So Carricker, the gamble is starting to go the other way. The roll of the dice may come up snake eyes for Troy Carricker. He's got James Hodgson and Mike Rigney right behind him, and then Christopher Logan is about 3 seconds behind them. It could be at lap 170 that he's all the way right back where he started with an extra pit in 10th with an extra pit stop to make, Caleb.
Yeah, it is. And now James Hodgson looks up the inside turn number 1, gets alongside him in the middle of the corner. He's bringing Mike Rigney with him, and Troy Carricker losing 2 spots through 1 and 2. Those tires are absolutely screaming right now on that number 94 machine.
Yes, indeed. And there they go. They have passed Troy Carricker. So demote Carricker back to 7th. Rigney and Hodgson will continue to battle on. Let's check in on John Hutchins and Sam Crow. That's stabilized just a little bit. And they've got Christian Light along with him, too. And they are also about to get to Troy Carricker. So that's Logan, Crow, and Hutchins. And they've got Troy Carricker less than 3 seconds ahead of them. So there's going to be a battle here. Sam Crow will duck under Christopher Logan. Logan to the top. John Hutchins will take advantage as well, and Logan hits the wall.
Just a little bit of a love tap there going through turn number 4. Doesn't look like he got too much, or actually didn't look like he got any damage from that, so no harm, no foul from the number 70 there. The Chevrolet going through turn number 4 as he goes onto the back straightaway now. Christopher Light right in front of him, able to slot himself into the top 10. He was fighting in the top 5 earlier on in this stage. Back in the 10th place position, we'll see if he's able to gain any time and try to get some more positions at the end of this race.
Yes, indeed. Great battle ongoing between Hutchins, Crow, and Christian Light. They are just about to Troy Carricker now. He's only another second up the road, and you can kind of see him just off in the distance. We've got 30. We're going to have 31 laps to go this time by. I do want to thank everybody for tuning in. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to P1 so that you can get on all of the iRacing fun. We've got a pretty packed upcoming schedule. The Truck Series is off tomorrow night. On Saturday, we'll have the iRacing IndyCar Series from Long Beach, presented by 4D Racewear. That's going to happen at 2 Eastern. On Sunday, it's the Dark Horse DW12 Series, presented by 4D Racewear. That's going to be at 8 o'clock. Caleb, you going to do that one? It's New Texas.
Oh, yeah. New Texas in the DW12.
New Texas and a DW12. I'm there for it, man. New Texas is my favorite track, so I'm looking forward to that one. You gonna put the Gold Wings on there too?
Nah, I feel like it's got to be a votive only thing. I feel like it's got to be a votive only. We can run Freebird.
Votive only for Freebird. Gotcha. On the 20th, on Monday, we restart the weekly grind. It's the IndyCar Series Monday night top split from Motegi. That's at 8 o'clock. They'll be followed immediately by the Indy Next Road Series top split from Nürburgring Grand Prix Circuit at 10. Tuesday night, it's a triple header, but it's front-loaded this time. The Elite Racing League Indy Lights Series is going to be at... I can't talk. Is going to be in Indianapolis on the Oval for the 13th running of the Freedom 100. That's going to be followed by the Tuesday night top split at 8:15. And the nightcap, the Indy Next Oval Series top split, the IndyCar Oval Series is at Kentucky. So I get two of my favorite tracks in 3 days. Well, really, and I get to call one at one of my other favorite tracks, Motegi. So, man, this is right up my wheelhouse this week. No Horizon this week. We'll have the Formula Super Series from COTA at 8:20 on Wednesday. And that brings us right back here for the AMA Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series from Talladega. 8:20 pre-race, 8:35 start right here on P1. You're watching John Hutchins and Sam Crow battle it out for 8th and 9th. Let's flip back up to Mike Rigney and James Hodgson, because Rigney has been all over James Hodgson in the forward-facing 88 for the last 25 laps. They have been welded together, but Rigney has not been able to figure a way around the 88 and get into that 5th spot.
He is not. He's kind of looked up that inside, taking that very shallow line going into each end of the track here. Meanwhile, James Hodgson taking a kind of wider line, a wider entry, and cutting back down in the middle of the corner here. And this time they actually do the opposite. James Hodgson kind of holding that low line early on.
We got a battle. We got a battle for position. Sam Crow has arrived at Troy Carricker, and he's going to be underneath the 94 machine. Sam Crow looking to put himself up into the 7th spot at the expense of Troy Carricker, and there he goes to the inside, moves Sam Crow to 7th. John Hutchins will immediately follow suit and grab the 8th spot. It's worth noting that we're going to be watching a pit stop from Troy Carricker here any lap. He's been out 49 laps. We believe the fuel run, courtesy of Say Hey Lewis Hayes, is 51. So Carricker is going to be hitting the pit lane at just about any time. I thought he'd come in about 175. It's 176 now. And so unless he gets a caution here in the next couple of laps, Troy Carricker's strategy is going to come for naught.
Well, with the pace he's maintaining, it's going to be close whether or not he actually even goes a lap down here, Mirth. He's got about a 7-second difference between him and the leader.
Well, he's going to be he's going to be 2 down when he makes his stop, and then he'll immediately get one of those back just on pace. But he's been 50 laps out on his run, so this is his 51st lap. He's not going to be able to stay out there much longer, and we'll follow it to see where he cycles back out. But my guess is he's going to be 2 laps down, somewhere 12th or 13th is going to be my guess here. But we'll see. We'll follow Troy Carricker and his trials and tribulations as he works through lap 178. Does not come this time, and he is hoping for somebody get loose coming off of 2, right? Just spin the thing out harmlessly somewhere in a zone where it'll trigger a caution. Get me a yellow so that I can come in and get me some tires and don't have to go 2 laps down.
Yeah, but the one thing is that we talked about, the car is just naturally loose around here at Kansas, but throughout the run, it will get tighter and tighter and tighter. And at that point, it's kind of hard, as we say, Troy Carricker is now heading the pit lane. But so the caution never did come out. The gamble did not pay off. And unfortunately, it looks like he's going to lose quite a bit more positions here.
Yeah, there he is. So Troy Carricker makes his way down the pit lane. We're going to stick with it just to kind of let the fans at home know exactly what this did for Troy in terms of positions. He was ninth when he hit the pit lane. Right sides are on, lefts are on. Troy Carricker down and away. He's going to make that long, slow slog down pit lane. Don't want to speed. He's going to come out. Right now, he's 12th. Christopher Logan's within 4 seconds. So Troy Carricker is going to come out in the 12th spot. So it really only cost him 3 positions on the racetrack, or 3 positions in the running order. Edward Shearer just put Franco Alvarez a lap down. How about that?
Yeah, I noticed earlier Franco Alvarez had an incident very early on in the stage. He kind of went through the infield, was able to gather back up, and was really off the pace after that. So I think he's just trying to manage his stuff at this point and just try to keep the car going forward at this point.
Yes, indeed. And there you have it, the leader, Edward Shearer, and he has continued to build that lead. Now 2.2 seconds over this man, Greg Evans. Greg Evans runs along in the second spot. There he is. It's 2.5 seconds now. You've got to go another 4 seconds back to Ryan O'Donoghue. There's O'Donoghue, and he is very firmly ensconced in third because it's 5.6 seconds, 5.5 back to Kendall Paul in fourth. And Mike Rigney, after studying James Hodgson for the better part of 100 miles, is now in the 5th spot. And there's Hodgson in 6th behind him. You got to go another 3 seconds back to Sam Crow in 7th. He has pulled away from John Hutchins in 8th. Hutchins has made it through Christian Light in the 9th spot. And those are the only cars remaining on the lead lap as we wind down to the last 16 laps here at Kansas. And it's been the Edward Shearer show, although Greg Evans has started to reel him back in just a little bit as Shearer works through traffic.
Yeah, lap traffic always a bit difficult, especially especially usually we see at short tracks. Not so much on the mile and a halves here. Lap traffic was actually a big factor last week at Bristol. Not too much around here. The only thing you really got to deal with is the dirty air coming off that rear bumper of the lap car in front. Ed Shearer goes to the apron. Not able to quite get alongside, but he looks up the inside one on Mr. Excitement there, Justin Osterman. And Osterman is letting him have it. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. They're still kind of side by side, but finally Edward Shearer Jr. able to get around the lap car, and now he can finally set sail off into the distance.
Yeah, that cost him a lot of time, and Greg Evans is back there, and Evans is looking out of his windshield, and he sees Edward Shearer up there. Unfortunately for him, he's going to now have to work through the same lap traffic that Shearer did. The difference, though, for Greg Evans is that Evans is a lot more well known in the series. This is, Evan Shearer, or this is Shearer's what? First start, second start, maybe in the series.
I believe this is his debut in the AMA.
Okay, so everybody here knows Greg Evans, right? They've raced with Greg Evans for a number of seasons. They don't know Shearer, right? And that can be a huge thing when you talk about getting through lap traffic. And so, we'll continue to monitor the situation. But for right now, Shearer is through. Evans is gaining now. He's cut it to 2.2 seconds, 2.3 seconds. It had been as high as 3. So Evans is coming just a little bit. Shearer doesn't have any more traffic, at least that we can see in front of him. He's got, I don't know, probably Well, there's Troy Carricker, and you see him. It's half the back straightaway to the next car. But Greg Evans chopped quite a bit out of that advantage in the last several laps. It's down to 2.2 seconds.
Yeah, but he's got the very, very quick driver of Franco Alvarez. Alvarez led a majority of this race earlier on, got that incident early in stage number 3. We'll see if he's letting Greg Evans go, and he does. Greg Evans able to get around him. So we'll see if Greg is finally able to start. He's got a bit of a gap into the next lap car in front, which is just behind Edward Shear Jr. If he's able to catch that lap car, well, it's only a matter of time before he's able to pounce on our leader with 10 laps to go here.
Most certainly so. It's all down to how you work traffic at this point. Evans is closing, but we're 10 laps to go here, Caleb. I don't know that Greg Evans has enough time.
I think it's about a quarter second of a lap he needs at this point, and a quarter second difference this lane to run, and he hits the wall very, very hard coming off turn number 4 there. Very hard. Pushing that car a little bit too much. He does have, I think, a little bit of right side damage there. Nope, he doesn't have any damage, but he did hit the wall.
Well, and now he's sliding the car hard off of turn number 2. Greg Evans is driving the deuce as hard as he can, but it's I don't know. It might all come for naught here.
Possibly Greg just is starting to run out of tires or is trying to overheat the tires. Well, not trying to, but maybe he's overheating the tires, and now he's riding that high line and just trying to manage his stuff as much as he can with less than 10 to go.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, he knows. Greg Evans knows with 7 laps to go, he doesn't have to worry about Ryan O'Donohue. O'Donohue is pretty far behind him. He's just going to drive that thing for all it's worth. The problem is, for him, I think he might have scared himself because he had two incidents within the last 3 laps that really cost him not just a lot of time, but nearly cost him the race car, and that's going to leave Edward Shear all alone at the front of this field with really no pressure. You can tell Shear is backed off the pace a little bit. No reason to push the equipment, no reason to push as hard as possible. He knows that Greg Evans is burning up his stuff trying to get him, and he also knows that he's in really good shape.
Yeah, it's what a debut from Edward Shear Jr., leading a large portion of this race in stage number 3. He had that wheel spin off the restart, but he was able to gather back up, get that damage repaired that he got, and now he is leading this race on his debut and possibly looking at his very first win here.
Most certainly so. It's been a dominant debut in this final stage for Edward Shearer Jr. Just a little bit less than 5 laps to go, and he will capture the flag in his inaugural AMA start. What a performance.
Yeah, we've had 2 debuts in the past 2 races, and both drivers have Franco Alvarez last week was his debut in the AMA in the Grand Nationals race. He came very, very close to winning that race, had to settle for 3rd with a different tire strategy called that just didn't quite pay off. This time around, Edward Shear Jr. leads the race, less than 5 to go. He's led the majority of the race, and we'll see, or he is going to lead this race. Unless something crazy happens, knock on wood, commentator's curse, he's going to walk away home with his first win in the Grand National AMA Series.
I heard the spotter mic crackle just a little bit just now, and with voice communications turned off for me, that means that I thought not a caution, not now, but Shearer He doesn't, at this point, caution would end the race. Well, it would be a green-white checker. And he does not want to see that. He wants to be able to cruise home, win the race. Troy Carricker has made it past Eric Quarter now, so he'll move into the 11th spot. So really only 2 places lost for Troy Carricker on the 2-stop gamble. Meanwhile, it's 2 laps to go, a little bit less than that for Edward Shearer. He's looking at the back of John Hutchins, and this has been, one more time, just a dominant performance for his series debut. He's going to round turns 3 and 4. Caleb, it'll be the white flag in hand for Edward Shearer Jr. There he goes, down into turn number 1. He's got a 2.5-second lead over Greg Evans. No trouble anywhere around him. He's just hoping, he's saying, hey, John Hutchins, please don't spin that car in front of me, right?
Yeah, absolutely right. He's got Eric Quarter to his outside. Oh, they're forming a dirty air wall right in front of him. Just give him a little bit of excitement, a little bit of racing. But Eric Shearer Jr., his debut here at Kansas, he's going to get the win here at the 1.5-mile cookie cutter track, and he is absolutely happy right now, getting his debut win in his first race in the series.
Yes, he is. Greg Evans is going to come home second. The points leader will pad his advantage over O'Donohue and Kendall Paul. They come home second, third, and fourth. Mike Rigney is going to be credited with fifth. James Hodgson comes home in sixth. Sam Crow seventh. Christian Light is eighth. Great run for him. John Hutchins ninth, and Franco Alvarez will cross the line in the 10th spot. And now we get to see how Edward Shearer Jr. celebrates. Is he going to do the donuts? What's he going to do here? He's going to spin it out across the line for the Rogue Energy winning moment. If you go to rogueenergy.com and use promo code AMA24, you get 10% off your order. That's rogueenergy.com, promo code AMA24 to get 10% off. This is your Rogue Energy winning moment for Edward Shearer Jr. Got some nice donuts there. I'll give him his due. He's spinning it out nicely, Caleb.
Yes, he is. He's doing the IndyCar strat too. I think he's put his brake bias all the way forward, and he's almost doing a perfect donut there. Just on the seam there, it's kind of setting him off a little bit. But what a drive from the rookie, we should say. His first ever race here in the AMA series, and now he's going to do a Polish victory lap here.
I'm a big fan of the Polish victory lap. Edward Shearer Jr. is your winner. Greg Evans second. Britty, your man came home third. Great run for Ryan O'Donohue. Kendall Paul is fourth. Mike Rigney, great run for the old pro. He'll come home fifth. James Hodgson, Sam Crow, Christian Light, John Hutchins, Franco Alvarez, your top 10. It's worth noting, of the 5 DVD Motorsport entries, they came second, third, fifth, and seventh. So 4 of their 5 in the top 10. In 11th, Troy Carricker 1 lap down. He tried the extra pit stop, didn't quite work out for him. Christopher Logan is 12th. Eric Quarter 13th. Joshua Zorn 14th. Ted Craven is credited 15th. Justin Osterman led early. He comes home 16th. Lee Campbell 17th. Andrew Gates 18th. Sergio Abella 19th. Vance Fisher 20th, all out of the race. I was looking forward to seeing that Tabasco Fiasco car more, Caleb, but it comes home 20th. Michael Kirk, Randy Dunlap, Crash Neon, say hey Lewis Hayes, Donald Green, David Dunwoody, and Brian Sharp, all out of the race, 21st through 27th. All right, Caleb. Let's see who we've got in the interview room. See if we can't get Ryan O'Donohue up here. And Ryan O'Donoghue's run away. No, there he is. Ryan O'Donoghue, you've got Murph. You've got Caleb Brashear in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
What's going on, guys?
Well, you hit. You seem to have your normal issue. The good news for you though was this time it was early in the race, so you're able to recover. Talk about that drive through the grass.
Yeah, we did a little yard maintenance there, and you know, yeah, it happened again. I don't know. There's nothing I can do about it when we got behind though, and started trying to switch up our strategy a little bit based off of that, and um, the thing was go for that stage and hope it works out at the end of the race, right? As I knew I was going to waste a set, trying to get there. I figured we'll take the 10 points, and if we get a late yellow at the end of the race, and we have those kind of in our pocket, and we don't have to. It's not going to hurt too bad. But we didn't get that yellow, and that was a long green flag run. That was a lot of fun. We were driving them for sure. The right rear was gone on just about everybody, I believe. So no, good race, good points, and yeah.
There you go, Caleb. What do you have for Ryan this evening?
I just got nothing. It was a very good drive, very good recovery from you, Ryan, and I guess we got to look forward to next week, which is off the top of my head,
Talladega, man.
Oh boy.
Yep. Yeah. No, that'll be fun. We got a good team here, so we'll probably figure out a strategy. Probably not do too much practice in there. It's just we all got to make it to the end of the race, right? And see what happens from there. Can't win it if you're not in the car at the end of the race. So.
Oh, there you go. That's the main thing. If you can keep the shiny side up, and you can keep the fenders on it at Talladega, when it comes down to the end, you got a shot. So we look forward to seeing you there, Ryan. We know you're pretty good at the plate tracks too. As always, friends, family, sponsors, shout outs. The floor is yours.
Yep, girlfriend's always first. I don't know if everybody gets sick of that, but I know she doesn't. So she puts up with all this nonsense every week. So
yeah, my
guys.
my wife came in and scowled at me about 30 minutes ago, so I know I'm probably in trouble. But,
all my DVD guys, I know Lewis had another tough night. I hate it for him. It's just gutted because he spends so much time practicing throughout the week, and something comes along and he can't even make it through the first stage. That's a bummer. Hate it for him. Good run from Greg. Rigney with the top 5. That was awesome to see. I think Sam just had some issue on pit road there on the last stop, or he'll be up there with us too. Gotta shout out John Bambrellis, and we said we're doing this for him, and it's a lot of fun with these guys. Love that we're up here every week, being able to mention him and honor him, and his brother Charles, I know he's watching, and Master Eagle Supply, Heatwave Visual, 80K Karting, Sim Magic, Simshop. Got a new one on here this week, High Torque, up on the C-Pillar. I was at a work conference all week, got to know those guys. They do a lot of cool stuff, High Torque New York, and just torque wrenches, torquing, getting in weird places and cranking things down to 8,000 foot-pounds with a drill, and it's pretty gnarly stuff. AMA, can't hail all the admins, Archway Industrial Coatings, Outland Custom Arms, Black Magic Studios, Track Racer, Rogue Energy, Admin Box, and good to hear from you again, Mark. Hope you had a good little vacation there, and everybody watching. Caleb, as always, you guys do a great job. So.
Yeah, we appreciate you stopping by. Ryan, keep going fast, having fun, buddy, and we'll see you at the next one.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you.
Yes, sir. That's Ryan O'Donoghue. It feels odd introducing this man as the second place runner. Greg Evans, you've got Murph, and you've got Caleb Brashear up in the P1 broadcasting booth. You hear us?
Yes, sir. How much you guys got me?
We got you. We saw Edward Shearer run out to a huge lead in the first portion of that final stage. You started reeling him in on the back half, Did you make an adjustment in the second half? And if you did you run out of tires?
Yeah, I mean, the being a second, it was just such a disadvantage. And like I said, he ran out there, and I really thought that we were saving tires, and it was the right decision. And I think Sam said that somebody did kind of the exact same thing in the ARCA race, and second and third just could never get back to him. Then we got kind of caught up behind Christian Light, and there was Troy Carricker there for a while, and it was just the car was just so aero dependent tonight. If you got behind somebody, it was just really hard to create a run and get a run and get by him. So we let him get up there too far. Started closing in a little bit, but it was like, you just couldn't give it enough. And without a caution, there was really no way of making up that ground. If we'd have backed off some more and saved some more tire, I really don't think it helped out much. It seemed like you almost had to go like 90% all night long to have a chance. But yeah, just got behind on the race pace there, and just couldn't get back to him there.
Caleb?
Well, you increase your championship gap a little bit further over your teammates here. We go into Dayton next week. Where you look? Is this a race where you think you can increase your points lead, or is it going to be a luck of the draw pretty much?
I might be in the back next week sipping on sweet tea for about 90% of the race, and then we'll see what happens.
That's my favorite strategy there, Greg. I as much as I sometimes enjoy a good IndyCar pack race, there's something about Talladega and Daytona and a stock car that makes me want to go find a hole and hide in it until about 5 laps to go. So I can certainly understand that. Thank you so much for stopping in. Friends, family, sponsor, shout outs. The floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you guys again for broadcasting. It's always fun to go back, even when you finish second, and watch the race and try to learn. Coming into this race, I went back and watched last year's Kansas race, and we kind of fired off slow there too. So just didn't learn from my mistakes. But just like I said, got to thank Freightliner, Sim Magic, Sim Labs, Simshop, DNR, Daniel Newman Racing, and we'll thank my DVD guys for sticking in there tonight. Tonight wasn't, getting a second and third was pretty good. Like I said, we just didn't play the strategy right, but we'll learn, and maybe one of us can pull it off at Talladega.
There you go. Well, as always, my good man, good to see you. Keep going fast and having fun, Greg. We'll see you at the next one.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good night.
Yes, sir. That is Greg Evans. He comes home second. And it's been a while since we've had one of these. Edward Shearer, you've got, hopefully I'm saying your name right for one.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
You've got Murph and you've got Caleb Brashear in the P1 broadcasting booth. So it's a win on debut here for you.
Yep.
That's the first time in my recollection, and I've been around the AMA for 3 years that's happened. So congratulations. Well, unless it was the first race of the year. So congratulations to you on that feat. It wasn't without its pitfalls, though. You were dominant in the final stage, but you had a little bit of trouble getting there. Wheel spin, was that it, or was it wheel spin or getting leaned on that restart? Talk to us about that.
So it's funny. I was just talking to Greg about it, and he thought that he was leaning on me, but it's like he was, but it's like before I even went to hit the gas. And like once I hit the gas, I was like 30%, and then all of a sudden the car just turned right. Like my rears just did not want to go. Like, and I thought I was gonna have a lot more grip than I did when I mashed the throttle, but it just took off to the right, and then I felt terrible about it. I was telling everybody I apologize. Like that was probably like one of the worst mistakes that I could have made, and it's definitely something I need to do better at going forward. But overall, I just try to race everybody as clean as possible. I mean, these guys were great to race around. Greg and everybody gave up a really good fight in there in the end. He was like closing on me a little bit here and there, and it made me like have to push and try to find some things a little bit more. And I just, once I had that clean air and the advantage, I was just able to set sail.
Yeah, that was the last stage was just about as dominant as I can recall one, and it's no mean feat when you're basically able to pace with and pull away from Greg Evans. That guy's won a lot here, so no easy feat there. Was there ever a point where you thought he might have been playing possum, or were you pretty sure you had him covered?
When we got done with our green flag cycle, I thought there was going to be a chance like he's going to find something and get close, but I was just in my mind, I'm like, okay, I just got to try to gain as much as I can on him. Like I was just basically I was on Q lap mode for like the first 8 to 10 laps, trying to pull as much of a gap on him as I could, and thankfully the tires held on a little bit. I was burning the right rear definitely a lot there in that last run. In the end, I was coming off sideways on exit a couple of times, but I think a lot of people were starting to too. The track was just adjusting to that kind of mode because mainly I was just tight because I was just driving in my entry so deep because I was able to make it stick all the way through the center. And it just, this car was just, I just have so much fun driving these cars. I mean, these B cars, they're such a driver preference car. Like anything the driver does to it, I mean, you can feel it. Like besides the next gen and, the trucks, maybe a little bit, but these cars are just so much fun to drive, and they're not as much of a boat with like the dirty air as the next gen. So it's definitely a lot of fun to drive.
Absolutely, they are. Caleb, do you have anything for Edward Shearer this evening?
Well, Murph, you think he's ready for the question?
I think you should ask him the question. I think you should ask him the most important question that we ever ask in this booth. Go ahead.
The most important question, since it is your very first win in the AMA, and usually I do this with every first-time winner of the season. What is your favorite chicken wing flavor?
Like from a specific restaurant or just in general?
Just anything.
Just in general. It can be from a specific restaurant too, if it has to be. But...
So when I go to Buffalo Wild Wings, I always get the honey barbecue.
See, that's my guy right there.
If I do Wingstop, I do the garlic parm.
See, that's my guy, Caleb. I'm telling you, you don't have to get it. You don't have to buy the blazing wings that are guaranteed
ghost pepper.
Yeah,
whatever.
None of that.
Whatever.
No, like why would I want to burn my mouth when I'm trying to enjoy the food?
I'm with Shearer here. I want to enjoy my hot wings. See,
I'm also with that.
I'm also with that. I want to enjoy my hot wings. So we appreciate you stopping by. We appreciate you putting up with us. We have a tradition here at P1, which is if you get on the podium, you get the microphone. So friends, family, sponsors, shout them out.
Honestly, I'm sponsorless right now, so I just recently got done with like 3 years of open racing, so I'm adjusting to like fixed setup stuff. So, yeah, basically, just thanks to you guys for doing the broadcasts as always. Thanks to everybody at American Motorsports Association for allowing me on board. I got the text this week that I was going to be able to be accepted and run. So I was, ran a couple officials yesterday to try to get acquainted to how it run here at Kansas. But yeah, just thanks to you guys and everybody watching. Hopefully it was a great show as always. And yeah, I look forward to doing this again next week.
Absolutely, Edward. Well, we're glad to have you. Keep going fast and having fun, buddy. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. That's Edward Shearer. He is your winner this evening. And Caleb, he was pretty humble about it, but that is as dominant as I've seen a driver in this series, especially on debut.
Yeah, it is indeed. It's coincidence when Franco Alvarez made his debut last week at Bristol, and he was leading the majority of the race and was battling, longtime series veterans of Greg Evans, Ryan O'Donoghue, the entirety of that race, and just to get another, new face into the league, come in and just show that, I can hang with the big boys. I can hang with, the Greg Evans, the Ryan O'Donohues, the Kendall Pauls, and kind of give them a run for the money, and eventually win here at Kansas is definitely very impressive.
It most certainly is. And if you want impressive race fans, stay right here on P1. We are off tomorrow in the Truck Series. Saturday is the next race, and it is the Top Flight. It's the 2026 IndyCar iRacing Series presented by 40 Racewear. Full distance from Long Beach, Caleb. 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon Eastern Time. Sunday night, the Dark Horse DW12 Series presented by 40 Racewear. They're going to go off at 8 o'clock from 8 o'clock Eastern Standard from New Texas. So, old Indy cars, New Texas, I'm ready for it. Monday night, it's a doubleheader. The IndyCar Series Monday night top split from Motegi. That will happen at 8 o'clock. At 10 o'clock, you've got the Indy Next Road Series Monday night top split from the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. On Tuesday, one of the crown jewels of the Indy Lights car on iRacing. It's the 2026 Elite Racing League Indy Lights Series. It's the 13th running of the Freedom 100. That's at 6:35 p.m. At 8:15, it's the IndyCar Oval Series Tuesday night top split presented by Tuesday night top split. That's at 8:15. And the nightcap, it's the Indy Next Oval Series Tuesday night top split from Darlington. Wednesday, the Formula Super Series from COTA goes off at 8:20 p.m. And that puts us right back here. Same time, same bad channel. It's the AMA Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series from Talladega, round 11, 8:20 pre-race, 8:35 start. As always, we want to thank the drivers for putting on the show. Want to thank the fans in the stands, and we also want to thank the people that really make it possible: the military, the police, the firemen, the EMTs driving the ambulance. And Caleb, we'd be in grave remiss if we didn't thank the nurse that unloads you when you got there. From the bottom of our hearts, we thank you all. We will see you Saturday for IIS. Good night, everyone.